We're live. We're live. This is welcome to the channel, of course. Welcome back to Wrestle News 365. Hope everyone is doing well. Let me know if you can hear me correctly. This is the first time we've done a live stream here on the channel, so I'm sure there will be everything that will go wrong, can go wrong. So you'll have to bear with me. Slammiversary, of course, is what we're going to be watching along here tonight. It's an interesting one. I'm really excited. I don't know about you, but I think this has got to be what the most hype for an Impact Wrestling pay-per-view we've seen in a long time. I don't know about you, but my social media timeline recently has been absolutely crazy. Thank you very much. You can hear me in the chat. That's great. Yeah, it's a really exciting time for Impact Wrestling. We're going to see potentially a lot of debuts tonight. Some returns also. We know that Gallows and Anderson have already signed with Impact Wrestling. That was announced at midnight last night. And I don't know if you've seen the videos that we've posted today about Slammiversary and about Impact Wrestling. I think some people were saying, "Oh, is it the right idea to debut Gallows and Anderson or reveal the debut of Gallows and Anderson on social media?" And it's a good point that someone made online when they said maybe that's just the tip of the iceberg. I think that's the idea with this, is that everyone kind of knew that Gallows and Anderson was signing with Impact Wrestling. Everyone knew that was a thing. But now that we know that they're coming, I mean, what else could possibly happen tonight, right? That's the really exciting thing right now. So very, very exciting. Alex Lopez says he's got a beer in his hand. I mean, I wish I've had a green tea. I'm pretty boring like that, my friend. But mate, if it gets good, then maybe I'll have to crack out a beer. But let's look at the card. We're about 12 minutes away from the event starting on Fight TV. If you haven't already, it's available on Fight TV, so you can purchase it there. Of course, we've got the main event, which is what everyone's talking about really at the moment. It's Ace Austin, Eddie Edwards, and Trey versus a mystery opponent in a fatal four-way match for the vacant Impact World Championship. Of course, the Impact World Championship is vacant after Tessa Blanchard was fired. Contract was expiring. They got to her before her contract expired. She didn't want to top the title. There is so much misinformation when it comes to that right now. But the Impact World Championship is vacant, of course. And we're going to have a new champion crowned tonight. But it's almost, the Impact World Championship is almost secondary, isn't it, at this point when it comes to the main event? Because it's kind of like everyone just wants to know who the fourth competitor is. I think that's the real big talking point. I don't think it's the only place on the show, to be honest, that we're going to see returns or debuts. I think that's pretty much a given at this point, isn't it? But it's what everyone's talking about. I've mentioned that my pick is at the moment, I think most people's pick is that the mystery opponent's going to be EC3. He put out a tweet today basically saying, "Oh, this is..." Because he just released at midnight also. He wasn't the only one Impact Wrestling wasn't the only one to do a post at midnight, of course. EC3 also did a post. And he released that 7-minute video, which I think was on his Facebook page. We might even have a link to it in the description as well. Basically saying, it was very John Moxley-like, wasn't it? It was very John Moxley-like. It was a very high production quality video. And essentially what it was him getting in the ring and having a match, if you want to call it a match. And he posted on Twitter, he's like, that's the only fight I'm having on July 18th. But you can look into that different ways. Like, one, it's professional wrestling, right? Professional wrestling is filled with lies. Two, like over here, technically in the UK, as we're streaming, it's not even July 18th anymore. 3, he said fight. Does a wrestling match, does a fatal four-way match count as a fight? There's so many ways. David Cook in the chat saying that he thinks Eric Young. Eric Young is pretty much a certainty for Impact Wrestling. It depends if he's going to be Eric Young or not. It could be Super Eric. We know that Super Eric is returning to Impact Wrestling. We've seen the teases recently on Impact Wrestling with seeing the costume backstage. We also had the vignettes of Super Eric picking up his mask and cape. I don't know about your thoughts about Super Eric coming back. Some people aren't too happy that he's coming back in the Super Eric role, the comedic role. I think it's just a way to get the stench of that disastrous WWE run off of him. I think that might be the case with that one. So that's the main event. We've got about 9 minutes before it goes on the air, so I'll run through the rest of the card quickly. Knockouts Championship, Jordan Grace versus Deonna Purrazzo. Looking forward to this one. I really enjoy Jordan Grace's work. I think she's great in the ring. We know what Deonna Purrazzo is capable of. The interesting thing with Purrazzo, though, of course, is her contract situation. She's only on a per-deal basis. I don't know if that's changed. I would assume it has. I can't believe that Impact would put Deonna Purrazzo in arguably their biggest event of the year. I know Bound for Glory is traditionally her biggest event of the year, but is Impact's biggest event of the year. But this is the event everyone's talking about. I'd be stunned if they put her in this spot and gave her the title, considering that she hasn't signed a full contract. That to me would be a bit crazy. So it's a super interesting one. Pain Wrestling says rumors been saying Velvet Sky and Angelina could show up at the Women TNA match. Interesting, very interesting. We'll get onto that in a second. For the Impact X Division Championship, we got Willie Mack defending against Chris Bay. Interested in that one. I'm a big fan of Chris Bay's work. I think he's going to win the X Division title in that one. I think potentially that's why we might see Super Eric, because I think Johnny Swinger could get involved in that one. And Johnny Swinger is very comedic, isn't he? So, and of course Johnny Swinger was the one that found Super Eric's costume backstage a couple of weeks ago, isn't it? So I'm going to go Chris Bay on that one. We got the gauntlet for the gold match to determine the number one contender for the Impact's Knockouts Championship. Alicia Edwards, Havoc, Kira Hogan, Kimberly, Kylie Ray, Navia, Madison Rain, Rosemary, Susie, Tasha Steelz, and Taya Valkyrie. What a division! What a division Impact Wrestling has got. I would still say that WWE and NXT's women's division is the best in the world. Yeah, with Stardom, of course. Stardom is a promotion, isn't it? So, but Impact Wrestling is right up there. Their Knockouts division just blows AEW's what is an excuse for a women's division out of the park. It's just, I mean, that's how you build a women's division. I predicted that Kylie Ray is going to win this one, but it could be Ty Valkyrie. It could be Susie turning into Sue Young. That's been an underlying storyline. It could, as we mentioned in the chat just then, as Pain Wrestling mentioned, maybe Velvet Sky, Angeline Love. We don't know. There's going to be a lot changing and going on tonight. So interested in that one. Interested in the card. I could say this about every match, to be honest. Interested in the card. Tag Team Championship, we got the North, Ethan Page and Josh Alexander going up against Ken Shamrock and Sami Callihan. I think the North will retain here because I just can't see Shamrock and Callihan. I've got a bit of a rule of thumb when it comes to tag teams. I've mentioned this before on the channel. If you're not an established tag team, I hate non-established tag teams that have just been thrown together. Beating established tag teams, to me, it just doesn't make any sense. It just doesn't make any sense why you would do that. Like, tag team wrestling should be protected. Tag team wrestling should be, if you're an established tag team, you know your partner inside out, you know the way they work, you know their moves, you know their psychology, you have a similar rhythm, all of it. And you know how to use the referee to cheat to win if you're the heels, or you know how to make the big comeback as the babyface as a tag team. So people that are thrown together, in a case of Ken Shamrock and Sami Callihan, who hate each other, to me shouldn't be beating a tag team that have been Impact Tag Team Champions for over a year. So I think the North wins that one, but maybe we see a Gallows and Anderson appearance there. So who knows? This is one I'm really excited for. Not necessarily the match, but just I'm really excited for the gimmick here. Old school rules match, easy for me to say, for the TNA World Heavyweight Championship, the unsanctioned TNA World Heavyweight Championship. Moose defends against Tommy Dreamer. Would have preferred it not to be Tommy Dreamer, if I'm completely honest. I thought, as mentioned in the video, I think they could have done this a bit better. For me, I know they've got an open challenge on the show. Maybe that's why they had to go with Tommy Dreamer, but I'd have preferred it for Moose to be like, the only people that can face me for this championship have to either have been a TNA World Heavyweight Champion, this bout specifically, or a TNA Original. Once again, that opens it up to who's going to appear, who's going to challenge Moose. I still think coming out of this show, we're going to have Moose versus the winner of who wins the Impact World Championship, which I think is going to be EC3. And we're going to have a real world champion versus real world champion kind of deal. I still think, and this, I don't think this will happen, but I still think that they could do an Impact Wrestling versus TNA Wrestling kind of deal. Maybe not a brand split. They could have two shows on Access TV, split your time. Instead of having a 2-hour show on a Tuesday, why don't you have an hour show on a Tuesday and an hour show on a Wednesday, on a Thursday rather? I mean, that would be pretty awesome. Impact Wrestling on Tuesdays, TNA Wrestling on Thursdays. Have them different shows. Show WWE how to do a brand split. But that's just me fantasy booking over here on Wrestle News 365. And then finally, we have the Rascals Open Challenge to a mystery tag team. Let me know in the chat who you think the mystery tag team is going to be. There are so many names this could be. I don't think it will be Gallows and Anderson. You know, I think that's too obvious. We know We know that Gallows and Anderson have signed, but there are a lot of tag teams it could be. Me personally, I would love it to be the Motor City Machine Guns. Chris Sabin's teased it on Twitter. They were meant to reunite back in April for the TNA There's No Place Like Home event. It's possible. It is possible. So I'd really like to see that. Will it happen? I don't know. I don't know the status of Chris Sabin's knee at the moment. That's the concern, isn't it? With Chris Sabin with his knee, what's the situation with his knee? Is it healthy? He tore his ACL back in January, so again, it's kind of like, well, is that going to be recovered by now? I don't know. That's difficult, isn't it? But we'll have to wait and see. We'll have to wait and see on that one. A little bit of housekeeping as well before we start the show. Obviously, we don't have 1,000 subscribers as of yet on YouTube, but any new subscribers, if you haven't subscribed already to the channel, if you do subscribe tonight, your name will pop up on the screen and we'll give you a bit of a shout out there. And also, we are accepting donations to Wrestle News 365 tonight. You can do that by clicking the donate, clicking the donate link in the description box. You'll be able to see it on the screen right now, hopefully. The link is streamlabs.com/Wrestle News 365. You don't have to donate. It's just there to support the channel. If you like what you hear, if you like what you see, if you want to see more of these kind of streams going forward, I think the aim eventually is to get to these for like Raw, SmackDown, Dynamite, pay-per-views. We're going to hopefully be doing another one tomorrow for Extreme Rules. So if you want a better company for Extreme Rules tomorrow, we'll be doing a stream, a live watch along for that. So yeah, if you do want to support the channel, totally you can go with that. No pressure, you don't have to. It's a way to support the channel also. So we really appreciate any of that if you do support the channel in that way. And once again, a bit like with the subscribers, if you donate to the channel, it will pop up on the screen also as well during the stream. So a little bit of housekeeping there. I feel very professional doing it like that. So far, so good with the first live stream. We'll have to see how it goes because I mean, you never know with these kind of technology, do you? So what are we saying in the chat right now? Motor City Machine Gun says Pain Wrestling. Yeah, I would love that. Ian Thompson saying they're going to swerve us with Reno Scum. Could you imagine? Could you imagine? I think it's possible. I think it's definitely possible. I mean, I think sometimes with these open challenges, you never know. I think that's the problem, isn't it? Because you never know, and your imagination can run wild, can't it? And that's part of the problem, I suppose. Sometimes we saw it last night on Friday Night SmackDown, right? Alexa Bliss, she had her mystery guest, marquee guest, and in the week people are speculating it's going to be Stephanie McMahon, it's going to be Stephanie McMahon announcing Evolution, or it's going to be Tessa Blanchard. I remember hearing that one. It's going to be Tessa Blanchard, and it wasn't. It wasn't. And that's maybe is that our fault? Maybe that's our fault for having our expectations too high. I don't know. It's a shame, isn't it? But as far as the Evolution goes, I mean, they're going to be doing it. I'm under the assumption they are going to be doing it because they have to, because they've recently played it on FS1 and it's done very, very well on there. So I think that's a given. I mean, we are just mere minutes away from the pay-per-view starting as well. It's very exciting. What are everyone's last-minute opinions then for Slammiversary? Let me know in the chat your last-minute opinions. What do you think about who the mystery fourth competitor is going to be? That is the main question here, isn't it? Who is this mystery fourth competitor going to be? Pain Wrestling said Deonna Purrazzo is going to beat Jordan Gracie. No, I agree. I do agree. I think that's most likely for me. As we just make sure the Fight TV works. If you haven't ordered it already, it's never too late to order from Fight TV. That's what we're going to be watching Slammiversary on tonight. Obviously, it's a watch along. We can't actually broadcast here on YouTube. That, of course, would be illegal. So here we go then, Slammiversary time. I, for one, am very, very, very excited. I think my streams, my Fight TV stream's slightly slow, which is always frustrating. If we might have a little bit of lag here, that's just unfortunately how the internet works, isn't it? And which is frustrating. But once we get going, I'm sure it won't be a problem after that. Richard Cartlett says the fourth guy is Eric Young, Heath Miller and Matt Cardona to face the Rascals. EC3 does not show. Jordan keeps the title. Bay wins the X Division. Ace wins the world title. Interesting. I like that. Interesting. What other predictions do we have? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section there, in the description box. Apologies for the little bit of dead air. I told you if something could go wrong, it will. And my Fight TV has just decided to back up, which is, I mean, talk about typical. But it'll be working in a couple of seconds. It's up and working now. We have the open challenge starting up the show. Here come the Rascals. Of course, we have the still no fans there in Nashville. No, I was interested to see if they actually would do the whole some people in the audience that are from the roster, a bit of a WWE or an Impact, an AEW kind of deal, but they're not, as it would appear. So we'll have to wait and see on that one. Tag team open challenge. See, look at that. Go straight to the screen. It's almost like I've prepared. The only thing that took me ages was getting the Fight TV sorted, but here we go. Who's it going to be? Tension. There they are. Motor City Machine Guns called it. They're back. I said Motor City Machine Guns. I said it was going to be them, and there they are. Alex Shelley and Chris Sabin are back. Man, this is going to be good. This is going to be good. It's almost like I'm in the know. It's almost like I'm in the know when it comes to this thing, guys. I said, wouldn't it be good to have Motor City Machine Guns? I'm not sure about the status of Chris Sabin's knee. Look at him. He's walking around. He's fine. This is going to be good. If you are ahead by like a minute, I don't know if you're able to pause, and we can catch up like that. If not, I believe there is a way around it. If you know that there is a way around it, of putting in like the pause feature or something, let me know in the comments section, and I'll make sure I fix that. Or I suppose if you're watching it on Fight TV, you can always pause it on there as well, so we can be at the same time there. I love the Motor City Machine Guns. I love the Motor City Machine Guns. Some of their matches, right? Generation Me. Imagine even today, a Young Bucks versus Motor City Machine Guns match was awesome. They were doing it in TNA in 2010. As we start off here, it's still a weird atmosphere there, isn't it? Without the fans, it does take a bit of getting used to, especially because on AEW and WWE we're kind of almost used to having a little bit of crowd noise now. Alex Shelley's been on a hiatus a little bit from pro wrestling, hasn't he? Obviously, he did the spot in NXT with Kushida, Time Splitters reunion for the Dusty Classic. At that point, I think everyone thought, "Oh, Alex Shelley, Kushida, we're gonna have a Time Splitters thing going on in NXT." Didn't happen. They just lost. Nothing happened. So that was fun. Once again, if you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe. New subscribers will flash up on the screen. I really appreciate everyone that has subscribed so far. It's been crazy, the growth we've seen on the channel in the last few weeks. It's been a bit nuts. See, this is what I wanted when it came to this surprise for the first match, because we could have had a new debut of a tag team we hadn't seen in a long time. But the event is called Slammiversary, right? We're meant to be embracing the past, embracing TNA's past and Impact Wrestling's past, and this team's synonymous. Now, this has got to be what? The first time Chris Sabin, he's in the ring right now. It's got to be the first time that he's been in the ring since tearing his ACL back in January. So that's 7 months ago. We'll see how he bounces around in the ring. I mean, he's had terrible knee injuries, hasn't he? Terrible knee injuries. There's a bit of chain wrestling. Well, he looks all right there. He's flipping around all over his knees. See, this is what I enjoy as well. Obviously, Impact Wrestling. A lot of people obviously haven't been paying attention to Impact Wrestling for a while, which is a shame because they are just so... the brand and the company has been good for quite a while now. But this is what's great about it. You're going to have the eyeballs on tonight's show. People are going to pop for the Motor City Machine Guns like I just did. But what they're really going to be impressed by is the Rascals here. If you haven't seen them before, they're going to open up some eyes. This is going to be a lot of fun. So I'm really... and it's going to be good. So in the ring at the moment, we've got Chris Sabin and Desmond Xavier in the ring right now. Leapfrogs. Oh, gosh. That Hurricane Rana sucked. That was not ideal. Des going to go for a dive. Alex Shelley intercepts. Alex Shelley's in the corner. We've got a tag in. The slingshot. And then goes Wentz. Is there a bit of an X-Pac Bronco Buster? Vince Burr says, I think they should have had wrestlers in the stands for some crowd. Yeah, I agree. I think of the reaction that the Machine Guns would have got even if there were some people in there. You know, it would have just been a better reaction, wouldn't it? And I don't know what it is. Just when there are no fans in the arena as well, just everything feels smaller, doesn't it? Everything feels smaller. Even the ring. I don't know if it's just the way the Impact shot with the camera angles a lot closer to the ring and on top of the ring, but even that just feels smaller without any atmosphere in there. Because you know the crowd at this point, like the start to this match hasn't exactly been super fast, super frenetic. But if there was a crowd in there that was still buzzing off the Machine Guns coming back, you would have that. You still have that rumble now. They wouldn't have to be trying so hard in what they're doing. Dez flies in the ring there. Nice Hilo Eddie Guerrero style. Like that. Why do I think they wouldn't use a crowd? It's a tough one. Maybe it's just about testing. Maybe it's about testing. Maybe it's about social distancing. I don't know. Gallows and Anderson said they had been tested, and I'm assuming everyone on this show has been tested. I would like to think so. If they haven't, then oh dear. Maybe it's a social distancing issue. But if they've been tested, you would have thought that would have been okay. I don't know. Maybe they don't have the space, or maybe they just don't have the talent. Maybe it's such a bare a threadbare staff there. You know, the people backstage, it might be some of the talent and maybe a couple of producers. That's it. Maybe they literally don't have the bodies to do that. Have the people in the crowd. Sabin takes down Dez. Drop kick there by Sabin as well. I hope this means that the machine guns are back full time. As Sabin just kicks him straight in the face. In comes Dez again. Sabin throws him to the outside. Oh, Dez going to get kicked to the face as well. Nice. But I hope this means that the machine guns are back full time. If they're back full time, then the TNA Tag Team division, that's going to be quality. That's going to be top quality, really. There, isn't it? Because with the teams that are coming in to Impact Wrestling, that we know are coming into Impact Wrestling, whether it is Gallows and Anson, whether it is Rhino and Heath Slater, whether it is, I mentioned this in the video, imagine the Clones came in. I mean, we haven't heard anything about the Clones. The Clones were even more forgotten in release than they were in WWE. Could you imagine that? Alex Shelley looks pretty relaxed there as well. Yeah, the Rascals are looking a bit out of it here. Wentz is fighting back a little bit though now, so that's not too bad. But Alex Shelley, stiff forehand. It's interesting as well, isn't it? Because when the Motor City Machine Guns, I mean, they're still not big guys, you know. Wentz just fell on the floor. I'm not really sure what that spot was. Just thrown to the floor. And he was meant to be like whipped into the ropes, and he just fell to the floor. Whipped into the ropes. Alex Shelley, forearm on Wentz. Forearms and double drop kicks, or kick to the front, kick to the back by the machine guns on Wentz there. But going back to my original point, as Sabin gets a 2 count there, going back to my original point is, back in the day, the machine guns were smaller guys, right? They were considered to be smaller guys. They were a smaller tag team. I think that actually hurt them in TNA because they were almost like a cruiserweight tag team, an X Division tag team. But now, you look at them now in this match, they're the bigger guys. It shows how much pro wrestling has changed and how much it's evolving. And I think, to be honest, especially when he comes to a Chris Sabin, with the injuries that he's sustained to his knee, that high-flying style just isn't going to be the case. Isn't going to be the case anymore, so they've got to evolve their style. Does that mean people will like them less? I doubt it. I think they'll be solid. But you notice it in this match, it's hardly been what I'd consider a traditional Motor City Machine Guns match. They've no super high flying, no quick spots. It's just been quite methodical, actually, hasn't it? Quite methodical. Alex Shelley, forearm to the face, throws him into Chris Sabin. Atomic drop, sort of. Back trip, kick to the back by Alex Shelley. I mean, the Rascals are just getting nothing. They were just getting nothing. Pittsburgh says, yeah, any fans would have been better than none. I agree. I think, and even in this case, if you'd have just had artificial noise, it wouldn't have had to be completely on track, but just have a little bit of rumble in the background. That would have been worth it. Just it's difficult. It's a difficult watch with no fans, isn't it? And you really notice it. You noticed it first when WWE had these empty arena shows at the Performance Center. Obviously, AEW, even from the start, have been doing those talent around the ring sort of deal, which has added atmosphere, and they did it right. And then WWE have gone to it now, and it certainly helps the atmosphere. And because I really noticed it when they on SmackDown a couple of weeks ago, they replayed Bray Wyatt and Strowman from Money in the Bank, and just you noticed it straight away. You went, phew. Alex Shelley back in, smash to the arm. Wentz getting worked over here. Who's working as the heels? I mean, the machine guns are kind of working as the heels in this one, right? It's a bit. And a forearm to the face. I mean, mostly machine guns, they take their time with the 5 count in the ring when they're both in as well. You think of all the criticism that the likes of AEW get for their 10 count. Wentz, handspring, knee into the face. Wentz is going to go for the hot tag. Alex Shelley looks less hurt, more shocked by the knee to the face. Slammiversary trending number 2 worldwide. How great is that for Impact Wrestling? That's so great to hear. I bet they'd have never thought that could happen with Impact Wrestling in 2020. At the start of this year, to get an event that they were doing trending number 2 worldwide, especially now during the pandemic. That's fantastic news. What a drop kick. Woo. Now that was a drop kick. That does something else as an athlete. Leapfrog used Chris Sabin as a bit of a platform then onto Alex Shelley there. That was nice. That drop kick was something else. Who's got the best drop kick ever? Best drop kick ever. Bob Holly. Hardcore Holly's got a lovely drop kick. Randy Orton's got a great drop kick as well. But that drop kick there by Dez was something. Wentz is back in now. And the Rascals both working over Motor Machine Guns. Drop kick to Chris Sabin in the corner. And another drop kick to Alex Shelley in the corner. Those ropes look a bit... Those ropes don't look exactly super tight, do they? Or they have cables, I think. But they look a bit loose. A double foot stomp to Alex Shelley. 1, 2. Broken up by Chris Sabin. Who do I think wins? You know what? I was just about to say that. It's a real good question, isn't it? Because I think it depends. For me, it depends if the Motor City Machine Guns are back in Impact full time. If this is a one-off, then the Rascals should win. But I would assume a lot of the time when you see these open challenges, the mystery team tends to win. Logically, it makes sense because in storyline, the Rascals haven't had the opportunity to prepare for a team, even though they're the ones that did the open challenge. Oh, he blocks a swanton. Alex Shelley gets the knees up. Alex Shelley going for the hot tag. Dez tries to use him as a platform again, goes straight into the turnbuckle. Alex Shelley, is that going to be? Oh, German suplex. Flips in midair. Dez just a crazy, crazy athlete. Brian says, is it true that fans are allowed back in stadiums for the Premier League next season? That's a strange one, isn't it? What were they saying in the news? Like October? Something like that? As Chris Sabin gets the tag in. I think it was like October. I know for like the NFL, the Jags were saying that they're going to let like 10% of the people in their stadium. I don't know. Chris Sabin's chest looks like chopped meat. That is something that if I was ever a professional wrestler, you can't work a chop, can you? You just can't work a chop. So it hurts. Spin kick to the gut of Dez by Chris Sabin. Forearm by Alex Shelley. Here we go. Another double team by the Machine Guns there. Richard Cartley says, how many surprises do you think we'll get? Well, we'll leave that to the chat. How many surprises do we think? This was one of the ones I predicted. As a double team on Dez. Chris Sabin goes with the cover. Is this going to be it? 2. Broken up. Broken up by Wentz. Spears through Alex Shelley. Ooh, Chris Sabin's holding his knee. The ref checks on him now. Let's hope this is a work. Because anytime you're holding that knee, that worries me with Chris Sabin because he's torn ACLs in both knees. I mean, multiple times. That doesn't look good. 23 people watching right now. Really appreciate everyone that's tuned in. If you haven't subscribed already, please do. And if you want to support Wrestle News 365, you can do that by going to the link on the screen. You don't have to donate anything if you don't want to. It's just there if you want to support the channel. I really appreciate everyone that's tuning in, has subscribed to the channel. Hope you're all enjoying Slammiversary. Spin kick to the gut. Oh my word, that kick from Alex Shelley. Motor City Machine Guns, they got him up on the shoulder. Whew. That was like a version of the one-winged angel, but double team, that'll be 3. Motor City Machine Guns get the victory. Good finish. Enjoyed that. David Cook says Sabin needs a D'Lo Brown chest protector. not even that. He needs a chest protector, and then he needs a suit of armor. He just needs everything. Stay away from that chest. We do this for Dynamite in the future. This was kind of the plan. Tonight was a bit of a tester to see how it was going to go. But I think it's going well so far. I think everyone can hear me. The only problem we had at the start was the Fight TV thing nearly crashed. But if it goes well, if you guys enjoy it, then totally. I mean, I'm always up watching wrestling anyway. What do you guys think of that match then? I enjoyed it. I thought it's slow start. Last 10 minutes or so, I thought, well, last 5 minutes was great. Don Callis back on commentary. Big fan of Don Callis on commentary. He works so well, doesn't he? Big fan of him in New Japan, and to be honest, the work he's done in Impact Wrestling, just behind the scenes, along with Scott D'Amore in executive roles, awesome. And he's wearing a nice flower for some reason, but it's really high up. It's not on his shoulder, which is strange. With Don Callis though back on commentary, of course that means no more Madison Rayne on commentary. What were your thoughts on having Madison Rayne on commentary recently for Impact Wrestling? I thought she did well. Pittsburgh says, yes, we'd love to see EC3 back, but I think he's 50-50. David Cook says, a very solid opener to start off the pay-per-view. I agree. Good opener. Sometimes with the openers, if they're the best match on the show, it means the only way is down, isn't it? So that's the difficult one as we run through the card right now. I think that's the one we see Super Eric, the Chris Bay versus Willie Mack. They put on the screen old school rules: Moose versus Tommy Dreamer. I don't want to like be sizist or fat shame anyone, but wow, Tommy Dreamer, it's just not a flattering picture. It's not a flattering picture of Tommy Dreamer at all. Knockouts Championship on the screen right now. Jordan Grace versus Gianna Purrazzo. Looking forward to that one. Really looking forward to that one. Drizzleland says, great show so far. You enjoyed the opener. I thought it was a fun opener. Real fun opener. And then they have the main event on the screen. Ace Austin, Eddie Edwards, Trey. Mystery fourth competitor. Who could it be? Who's it going to be? Who's it going to be, guys? Who's it going to be? It is going to be a difficult one. I think it's going to be EC3. Control your narrative, right? It could be anyone. Bride says, I just feel bad for Newcastle fans. They've been in limbo since April because the Premier League has given yes/no to the 350 billion Saudi takeover. I know, it's a lot of money. A lot of money, isn't it? A lot of money. Don Callis with his rose-tinted glasses. You can look into that one. I mean, he's got a tan as well. I thought, is Canada usually that sunny for my Canadian fans out there? Who knows? Production hiccup here, by the way. Looks like just golden screen. It's like me at the start of this stream. We've gone back to a shot of the arena because that was not working. That was not working. The first production hiccup. See, it's not easy, guys. It's not just me that has production hiccups. Here we go. We've got Taya Valkyrie backstage, in the backstage segment. So I'm assuming that means we get the knockouts gauntlet for the gold next. EC3 lead to narrative faction. Potentially, wasn't the hype for that saying that a former world champion was returning to Impact Wrestling and he was going to be bringing some friends with him. And then obviously in the video last night, it was him walking past people and he had followers on the train tracks, wasn't it? So it's certainly possible. I said that I really would enjoy a sort of control your narrative feud versus Ace and Nate's feud. We've got Moose on the screen, so that might mean that we have up next the TNA World Heavyweight Championship match between Moose and Tommy Dreamer. I love this gimmick. I think it's just because I'm such an old school TNA mark. Like that TNA Championship is very much my era. Well, to be honest, the one before that is a bit more my era. the sort of Kurt Angle one. I mean, I'm so old. I remember when it was NWA TNA. So, but I would like to see a former TNA World Heavyweight Champion make his debut after Moose wins this match, because I think Moose wins this match. Pittsburgh says Impact is trending #1 now. Wow, that's interesting. Is that true? Is that the case? I mean, I've been busy chatting to you guys. Let's have a look on Twitter. What is Twitter saying? Because having Impact Wrestling, and also as well, it's not only tonight. I mean, there's stiff competition when it comes for Impact Wrestling tonight, because obviously they've got another UFC event on tonight. They've got UFC Fight Island 2. But Slammiversary, you're right, is trending, which is great. Great. It's great. The most competition you can have, the better. The absolute better. What are your thoughts on having Tommy Dreamer in this one? I wasn't massively thrilled on it, but he did retweet my my tweet earlier. So thanks, Tommy. Maybe I'm just that much of a. Maybe if he's I'm that superficial and shallow. Yeah, if he retweets my thing, I certainly like him. No, I'd have preferred it to be a TNA original open challenge or something like that. It's #1 in the UFC. Wow, that's awesome. That is awesome, considering that UFC have got an event on too, the whole Fight Island thing. Which I don't know if there are any UFC fans in the chat, but I was a bit disappointed with last week's UFC Fight Island show. I wanted an octagon on the beach. I saw the general manager rumours. I don't know if that is the case or not. Is that true? Former Raw GMs is a pretty low list. Are we thinking Brad Maddox? The less said about that one, the better. Moose looks to be in, if you compare the shape that Moose was in when he first came to Impact Wrestling as opposed to what he is now, it's night and day. He didn't look physically the best now. I mean, he still was not amazing, but he looks a lot better. A lot better. Brian says that anything is better than WWE right now. Tomorrow should be funny. Well, I don't think on Impact Wrestling Slammiversary tonight we're going to see anyone lose an eye. So, think of that what you will. That whole eye thing tomorrow. I'm so morbidly curious, and to be honest, if I think about it too much, I won't be able to stop thinking about eye puns again. I can't look away. I see what you did there. I mean, can you think of any eye puns in there? Teddy Long. He was that is a very, very, very good point. Teddy Long was has been on Talking Shopomania, hasn't he? He is going to be at Talking Shopomania. He was in the trailer. He was in the trailer for Talking Shopomania with his mask. Came out. I don't know if he made it a tag team match player. I hope so. So we've got the TNA World Heavyweight Championship match. Tommy Dreamer comes out with a bandana that I'm not actually sure what that is doing. A bandana just... I mean, the purpose of the bandana is... I thought it was to get like hair out of your face, but it's kind of just sort of to push his eyebrows over his eyes in that case. And the t-shirt, I mean, we haven't even touched on the t-shirt. Moose sucks eggs, apparently. Moose sucks eggs. Here we go, Moose's entrance. Moose has got a great entrance. Blackout in the arena. As we see Moose's entrance. Dreamer doesn't look good. Well, he's, he is old. I mean, how old is Tommy Dreamer? Let's double check this, because he is, he's hardly a spring chicken. Tommy Dreamer, I thought he was in his, 50s. He's 49. Jeez. He's 49. Isn't Shane McMahon 50 or something? Shane McMahon's 50, and he had abs last time he was in WWE. Tommy. Saw that barbed wire. Minute on the Minute of barbed wire. He's got a new TNA World Title belt. The leather's changed. It's got white leather. Man. Look at that TNA World Heavyweight Championship. Different leather. White leather. That is dope. That is dope. Thanks, man. I hope you can see them great. You know what I mean? You got to prepare for these kind of things, right? No, I hope they look good. We've got to have. Well, that's what we're going to have for all of our watch-alongs. We're going to have graphics on the screen like this. You don't want to necessarily have just a blank Slammiversary logo and stuff like that. And sometimes as well, I think with the watch-along sort of thing, I think the best watch-alongs. Obviously, it's great sometimes if you can see the person talking on the screen, but this is kind of where meant to help. Moose has called himself a wrestling god. Was he JBL? He's called himself a wrestling god, Moose. Man. You know JBL's at home. Losing it. Imposter WWE Hacker says CGI as action figures like Robot. Back on my code. iPhone I, Seth Rollins will come out and use an eye patch. I mean, whatever floats your boat, man. Ian Thompson says, I think the mystery opponent is Heath Slater. Could be. Could be. What do we think on old school rules here? So that means anything goes, no disqualification. Do we think run-ins? Do we think run-ins? Because we might have some interferences here. And maybe we have some old school TNA interferences here. Moose just shouts that he's the best wrestler in the world. I would debate him. I would debate him on that topic because I'm not sure that's necessarily the case. I go trash can lid to the head. Because that's what you need. If you're in a real street fight, if you're in a proper fight, what you really, really need is cookie sheets, trash can lids. They're the weapons that will get you out of trouble. Tommy Dreamer's got a jersey. It's a Major League Baseball jersey by all accounts. I'm not a Major League Baseball guy, so... Moose will win? I think so. I think so. I would be floored. I mean, it might do well for the stream, but I would be floored if we had Tommy Dreamer win this one. Why he would win, it wouldn't make any sense to me. It's like I said, I'm still not completely sold on having Tommy Dreamer in this match anyway. So, yeah, it's a very good point, Ian Thompson. He says the old school rules match is Impact's version of Extreme Rules match. And then Tommy Dreamer gets nut-shotted on the guardrail like he has, I mean, his entire career. You would think he would stay away from the guardrails at this point, or what balls he had left have disappeared. He's lucky. He's got, he's got twin kids, isn't he? You wouldn't think that with all of those guardrail shots he's taken over the years. An extreme vasectomy. Why don't they just call it hardcore? Your guess is as good as mine, my friend. I guess because gimmicks sell. Tommy Dreamer is old in the eyes of Impact Wrestling, so it's old school rules. I mean, I've been a little bit frustrated in the sense that when it comes to the TNA Championship, during this feud, we have a suplex on the ramp to Tommy Dreamer there. I was a bit frustrated that they wouldn't take the TNA World Heavyweight Championship super seriously. Because he was kind of mocking it, wasn't he? Saying, oh, wow. I've spoken to the TNA Executive Board of Directors, or I've spoken to the TNA Championship Committee, and they've said this. Man, that's a dope-looking bout. The white leather, I think the white leather just... That looks even better now. I mean, I was a big fan of this version of the TNA World Heavyweight Championship, but that white leather was awesome. And what do you guys think? Do you like the new look of the TNA World Heavyweight Championship with the white leather there? I thought it looked great. I thought it looked awesome. Drizzleland said, I will not be surprised if Rob Van Dam or Raven gets involved in this match. It's that's a good one. Maybe not so much Raven, but Rob Van Dam still with the roster, still with the company. Hasn't been seen much since obviously Joey Ryan's no longer with the company with that whole cancel culture thing. For those not aware, maybe about half an hour before we went live on the air here for Slammiversary, Joey Ryan's released a 58-minute video on YouTube retorting a lot of the allegations put up to him by the Speaking Out movement. So if you have a spare 58 minutes, then but well, I mean, we won't touch on that. We don't want to ruin the show here. Drop kick. Look at that. Look at that drop kick. My word. My word. I mean, that's the second drop kick we've seen on this show that's made me pop, because that is ridiculous. That is outrageously athletic. Outrageously athletic to have a drop kick of that leap. I mean, how tall is Moose? I mean, we're going to... Well, they went to a replay there to show the replay, and they just kind of did the same. So, we're live, pal. But that drop kick from Moose was out of this world. Out of this world. I do think this kind of match does help with not having the fans in the ring. I mean, I don't know about you, but I've kind of adjusted to it now that we don't have the fans in the arena. And another drop kick to the head of Tommy Dreamer, who has a trash can on his head. Tommy Dreamer's convulsing. Tommy Dreamer doing the doing the seizure leg, because that's what happens when you get a drop kick to the head on a trash can. You do have restless leg syndrome. It's well known. Ian Thompson says, do you think Nick Aldis will return to Impact soon as they start to let people from the UK fly around the world? I don't think so. He's a NWA guy. Obviously, a bit of news the other day with Billy Corgan. There were rumours about the NWA being for sale or shutting down. He denied that. That came from Raven during an interview. They're just in a bit of flux at the moment, I think, the NWA. As we see Moose go to the top rope. Apparently, Dreamer caught him in a cutter. I did not see that. Onto the garbage can. Tommy Dreamer 2. Kicks out 2.5. No, I don't think Nick Aldis will go back to Impact. He's an NWA guy. The NWA, as I mentioned, is in a state of flux because obviously they can't do tapings of NWA Power in the studios there in Atlanta due to social distancing and I guess their inability to test. Even though the likes of Impact Wrestling are putting on shows, the NWA are not. They were uploading content to their YouTube channels, but after the Speaking Out allegations against Dave Lagana and his subsequent resignation, we haven't seen any new content uploaded to the channel. We're seeing that people are being released from their contracts. Nicky Dice was one of them. So Nick Aldis, though, I think he's a company guy. As a drop toe hold by Moose to Tommy Dreamer onto the steel chair there. Ouch. I mean, we're getting classic Dreamer spots here, aren't we? Classic Dreamer spots. Brian says, what production crew do they use? It's all over the place. Oh, you know, I mean, I'll cut them sympathy. It's not easy, I suppose, to do a live broadcast during a pandemic at a company that's the size of Impact Wrestling. But so far, like the first two matches, we've seen technical glitches when it comes to replays or promos packages, which is not great. Especially on a night, I suppose, where you've probably got more eyeballs on the product than you've had in a long, long time. I mean, Impact Wrestling's TV show never trends. Their pay-per-views usually don't trend, unless recently it's been for the wrong reasons. What was it? Hard to Kill earlier this year trended because of the Tessa Blanchard victory, but it also trended because of the allegations that were going on against Tessa Blanchard at the time. So you would hope with all these people watching, they've got to get their production neat and tight. Uranagi onto the steel chairs to Tommy Dreamer there by Moose. Think of the match so far. I think it's been alright. Standing moonsault by Moose onto Tommy Dreamer, onto the chairs, 2 count. Moose was actually practicing this with Ricochet, Stacey Irvin Jr., Casey Catanzaro. He's good friends with Ricochet. And he was learning that moonsault and he did it, and he just done it there. Little preview. If NWA is for sale, Tony Khan better sweep in before the Evil Empire does. Well, I don't think that it is for sale. I think Billy Corben will keep it. He's a smart businessman. Even if he doesn't put on shows, you got to remember that they had the NWA for what was a couple of years before he was regularly putting on shows. They were just doing the 10 pounds of gold and that kind of stuff. Moose goes for a moonsault off the second rope, kind of gets it, but he hits his head on Tommy Dreamer. That looked rough. I don't know why he didn't go to the top rope. DDT to Moose onto the steel chair. Moose is spiked. Rolls Moose over, shoots the half. 1, 2. No, kicks out 2.5. Who do you think will be in the Hall of Fame next year for Impact? There are so many names. We saw them earlier. Motor City Machine Guns, right? Great team. That's what's crazy now. You think of people like an Eric Young, like their time with the company, they could even be considered a Hall of Fame. There are so many names when you think back to Impact's history or TNA's history. I'd like to see Christian Cage come back and have an Impact Hall of Fame induction. Imagine if he gets inducted to the Hall of Fame before the WWE Hall of Fame. People will go nuts. We've got thumbtacks. Tommy Dreamer has put a pile of thumbtacks on the floor. In terms of thumbtack piles that we've seen in the past, it's probably the smallest pile of thumbtacks I've ever seen. Mick Foley used to have thousands and thousands and thousands. There looks to be about 50 there. Low blow by Moose though. Dreamer's going in those tacks. You know Dreamer's going in those tacks. Although if Moose does, I mean, credit to him. Going in the tacks is one of those spots. Chris Jericho talk about it. There's no way of getting out of that. You just have to take the bump. And it hurts. He's trying to shove Tommy Dreamer's face into the tacks. That is something else. Tommy Dreamer's face there, zooming in on his face. He's inches, he's millimeters away from the tacks. Is he going to go in? They're milking it. Tommy Dreamer. We mentioned the eye for an eye match. Dreamer's going to lose an eye into thumbtacks. We're getting it all a night early. We're getting an Extreme Rules match. We're getting an eye for an eye match. And now he's raking the eyes. I'm telling you. The eye for an eye. It's happening. Oh. And he throws him face first into the thumbtacks. Does he get any on him? He throws him into the thumbtacks. I don't think he's got any sticking out of him as such. Moose is looks to be setting up the spear here. And here we go. Spear by Moose on Tommy Dreamer. That should do it. His arm's in the thumbtacks. 2, 1, 2, 3. And Moose retains the TNA World Heavyweight Championship. Okay match. Never really felt that that Moose really got out of third gear in that one. Really. He kind of just beat the crap out of Tommy Dreamer. Tommy Dreamer maybe got a DDT and a couple of cookie sheet shots, but that was about it. But Moose throws him into the thumbtacks, hits the spear, and that's it. Oh, Josh Matthews saying something is happening backstage. Oh, promo package worked. We're going to get an arrival here. Can we get a glimpse of who it's going to be? Oh, it's my main man. It's the main man. It's Johnny Swinger. It's the swing man. Fanny pack and all. How can you not love Johnny Swinger? I don't know if you saw Johnny Swinger on Impact a couple of weeks ago when he dressed as Suicide. That absolutely had me laughing. Swinger side. He had a singlet on and the little chest exposed. It was great. David Cook, bad influence for Hall of Fame next year. You would like so, but they're in AEW at the moment, so I'm not sure about that. And Swinger with the old school workers handshake, the limp wrist, old school handshake. So it looks like we're gonna get the Knockouts Gauntlet next. Remember, if you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe to Wrestling News 365. New subscribers will appear on the screen. You can also donate to Wrestle News 365. We are accepting donations tonight. You can do that by going to the link in the description box, streamlabs.com/WrestleNews365. Don't feel like you have to. It's just a way of supporting the channel and making sure that we can do more of these in the future. We'll be doing a watch along for Extreme Rules tomorrow, so be sure to join us then. We have Tasha Steelz out first. So with this run, do you think Moose is worthy of the real world title? You know, I think he will eventually. People forget with Moose that he is still really new to the business. I mean, how many years has he got in the business at this point? 5, maybe 5, 6. You got to think a lot of these guys when they get to these big promotions, they've got a lot of time under their belt. He kind of had to learn on the run. So you have Kylie Ray out next. Kylie Ray, of course, was my pick to win it all, but if this is your gauntlet match, this is going to be difficult because she's going to have to run the whole gauntlet, isn't she? Great to see Kylie Ray back in the ring. Obviously, she was with AEW originally, then left, had to take some time away from professional wrestling for personal and she's been quite open about it, mental health reasons. And but ever since she's come to Impact Wrestling at Bound for Glory last year, she's just been killing it, really. Absolutely killing it. I think she's a great character. And she's waving to Josh Matthews at ringside. I don't know why anyone would want to wave to Josh Matthews. What do you think about Kylie Ray being considered similar to Bayley or the original Bayley character? I always thought that was a comparison that was a bit harsh. I feel like the Kylie Ray character as comparison to the sort of hugger Bayley character, I always felt that the Kylie Ray character is a lot closer to who Kylie Ray really is. So we'll have to see that. TLA isn't live from Florida, it's actually live from Nashville, Tennessee. Ian Thompson says, I think James Storm and Mr. Anderson will be in the Hall of Fame next year, and in 2022, I think Motor City Machine Guns will be in the Hall of Fame there. James Storm, certainly a possibility. Again, another one that's with Impact, with the NWA right now. Mr. Anderson, I still think Mr. Anderson could be coming back. Maybe we might see Mr. Anderson tonight. We know that the Aces and Eights are probably going to come back to Impact Wrestling in the near future. What about the Aces and Eights? He was at one point the vice president, the second vice president after D'Lo Brown, as we see a leapfrog by Kylie Ray there. And a Hurricane Runner, nice Hurricane Runner by Kylie Ray into this match. I think the comparisons to Bayley's old character is what did her in the other year. Possibly. I goes for Hurricane Runner and Kylie Ray lands on her feet. It wasn't a great Hurricane Runner, it was slow as all how. It looked a bit funny there. I mean, I wouldn't necessarily want to speculate on what the causes to her issues with anything like that. I mean, it's her health, it's her life. I don't think it's really fair to comment on it that much, but I think it also was just the addition of, there was so much going on with AEW and the spotlight, and look, if it's too much, it's too much. Credit her to taking the time away, getting better, doing what she needed to do. And we have the third competitor here, third knockout. And when they say Taya Valkyrie, but it's obviously not. It's Bravo dressed as Taya Valkyrie. They're saying that Taya Valkyrie wasn't happy that she drew 3, so they've sent Bravo out. They're dressed as Taya Valkyrie. Why they're doing this spot, I have no idea. This is one of those things, isn't it? And throw it over the top rope, and Taya Valkyrie has been eliminated. Does that technically count as Taya Valkyrie? As the countdown is on for the next competitor. That was quick. Yeah, didn't like that. You know that if that happened in WWE, then people would be going crazy. So you have to judge it on the same thing here, and yeah, not good. We have Kimberly out next. To be fair, when Bravo got eliminated there as Taya Valkyrie, we see a side slam there by Kimberly. I didn't actually hear the rules. Did they mention that this was like an over-the-top rope battle royal kind of deal? I thought it was a gauntlet in the sense of, like we've seen on WWE television, they come out and get the pin. I didn't realise it was a Royal Rumble style format. Look at that delayed vertical suplex, nice. Certainly though, with the sort of Royal Rumble format that we're going with here, I think it does lend more to Kylie Rae winning. So I'm still going to go with my prediction for Kylie Rae to win. So far, I mean, the predictions, I said the Motor City Machine Guns might return. They won. I said that Moose would win. He won. If Kylie Rae wins this, I'll be annoyed I didn't put money on. Next up, we have Kira Hogan on her way out. A Hogan in Impact Wrestling. Brings back flashbacks. In comes Kira Hogan. Super kick to the face of Kylie Rae. Wasn't the most snug. Didn't get all of it, as the announcers would say. I hate when they say that. Good evening, Tim. How are you doing? Pittsburgh says, I say Madison wins this. It's a good point. What's the likelihood Madison's going to be the final competitor? She's got to be. It's got to be, of course. Got to be, of course, hasn't she? Not sure what that sow by Kimberly was. She just sort of does a poor version of a Ric Flair flop there. Didn't get that one. As we have the countdown again, we have the next competitor coming out. Here comes Susie. She freaks the hell out of me. If you haven't already, by the way, guys, please like the video, the stream. That does help us out quite a lot when it comes to recommendations, etc. Out comes Susie, who is going to protect her best friend, Kylie Rae. Palm strike. Oh, I am not a fan of those palm strikes because they don't touch anyone. They're just the worst palm strikes. Not for me. This Susie character, though, I think Susie freaks me out more than Su Yung. Su Young's freaky, but something about having like Su Yung suddenly be all nice and normal. After we have the Ragnarana here. Oh, doesn't get it. Yeah, Susie just freaks me out. Yeah, I agree. I think Madison Rayne. Oh, we have elimination there. Tasha Steelz has been eliminated by Kylie Rae and Susie there. As we have another competitor about to make her way out. It's Katie Forbes. Was Katie Forbes even announced for this? And she was announced from Twerk City. Yeah. Twerk City. That's. I mean, do you think Dave Penza has ever said those two words? Ever? Twerk City? She's shaking hands with Susie here. And a clothesline. So if Katie Forbes has said, does that mean that RVD is going to be here too? You'd probably think so, right? And they're currently now in the ring talking about how great the outfit is. And twerking, because she's from Twerk City, of course. Right. I mean, the Knockouts division is better than that. Let's be honest. Come on. Right? And then we have Don Callis telling Josh Matthews what twerking is. Can we get someone out here quicker, because we need it. Oh, here comes Madison Rayne. So we're not going to have Madison Rayne be the final entrant into this one. Madison Rayne. Was it 5-time Knockouts champion? Step up Insaguri there by Madison Rayne also, and a clothesline. Madison, she's great in the ring, isn't she? She is just quality, consistent in Impact Wrestling history. What's interesting as well is her addition. I remember when she first got added to the Beautiful People with Angelina Love and Velvet Sky, there was a bit of sort of, why are you adding her to the group? But I think she as a worker, she's great. And she's had all sorts of gimmicks in TNA history. I remember when she had the loaded glove. He brought back having the loaded glove for Madison Rayne. Taplerist says, beautiful people or just Angelina Love maybe to help Madison Rain. I don't know. I mean, we've saw Katie Forbes in this one, so maybe we're going to see people that weren't announced. You never know. Here comes Havoc. Now, if you were going to book this right, you'd have Havoc come in and you just have her throw 3 or 4 people out. That's how you book someone like Havoc. Katie Forbes was dancing to Havoc's music. She deserves a clothesline. Nice. Swinging sidewalk. Sit down slam. Susie saying hi to Havoc. Kicks her in the head. Now what we thinking? A kick to the head. Is that going to wake up the real Su Yung? Havoc just threw Kylie Rae onto the floor. Got a Boston Crab. Here comes Madison Rain, but she looks scared. Goes under the bottom rope. Tells how smart she is. I believe is Madison Rain married or engaged to Josh Matthews as well. Here we got another entrance on their way out. Oh, so Taya Valkyrie is coming out now. So, man. Why did they have that spot earlier? That was just a comedy spot for no reason. That wasn't necessarily funny. And just annoying. And Taya Valkyrie doesn't need it. She's a great worker. She's former Knockouts champion. She doesn't need that part of it. And I'm not one of those people that says, oh, you can't have comedy in wrestling, because I think you should have everything in wrestling. But sometimes if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. Taya Valkyrie's coming in, hitting some strikes. Who do I think wins? I think Kylie. I think she's been my pick from the start, so I'll stick to my Yeah, I thought they were married. Thanks for confirming that, David. I don't know why Ty was in this match twice. Apparently because logic is just out of the window at this point when it comes to this match. I mean, I don't get that one. I have another knockout on their way to the ring. It's Alicia. Alicia Edwards makes her way to the ring. Walks in the ring and just looks really confused about who to go for. But we've got a double clothesline to Kylie Rae and Susie. Here's a question for you in the comment section. Why do you think they should bring back the Knockouts Tag Team Championships? As Alicia Edwards sort of floats over for Taya Valkyrie there. I think they should bring back the Knockouts Tag Team Championships. They've certainly got the roster and the division to do it. You put the titles on the likes of Susie and Kylie Rae. I think it'd be great. Speaking of Kylie Rae, she's got Aisha on her shoulder. Tries to get her up, but can't do it properly. Gonna try again, but Havoc is behind her. And it's actually Havoc who's lifting her up. Kylie Rae thinks she's doing it, and she's not, and gets thrown into her. As Nevaeh makes her entrance here. And that, a little bit of the song sounds a bit like Becky Lynch's theme there, doesn't it? The Whoa. And she's going after... Oh, does a step over into a DDT kind of move there by Nevaeh. I just think some of the spots in this one have been a bit... I don't know. I don't want to say sloppy, but there is certainly a contrast between the good workers and the bad workers in this one. I'm always a big proponent of these kind of matches, these kind of over-the-top gauntlet-style matches like a Royal Rumble. When you make your entrance, you have to come in and you have to get your stuff in. That's the whole point, is you make your entrance, you get the pop for your entrance, and then you run everyone down, do your biggest and best moves, because that's your moment to shine. Because otherwise, you're in the ring with everyone else, and you're going to start blending in. So the only time in which the spotlight is truly on you is when you make your entrance, and those first 30 seconds when you're in the ring, as we have Rosemary now making her way into the match, into the ring. Are we going to see Rosemary once again try and convince Susie to come out of her shower? Rosemary goes straight after Susie. As Taya Valkyrie now is going to work over Susie with Rosemary in the corner there. We haven't had an elimination for a while. We've got another entrant. How many entrants are there confirmed? I'm surprised Rosemary is going with that face paint. She said she had to switch to the half face because it bothered her eyes. Well, there you go. Wait a minute. Susie has been eliminated, apparently. Out comes Rosemary. Someone pretending to be Rosemary. And apparently that is Bravo once again. This time dressed as Rosemary. And Don Callis is laughing. Man. I don't like this. This is just what is going on. You have Bravo. Yeah, Bravo come up dressed as Taya Valkyrie earlier on and get eliminated. Apparently taking Taya Valkyrie's spot. Oh, and Havoc is going to be eliminated by Bravo. And now Bravo is out as Rosemary in a purple wig and looking like a sort of a poor man's Sting. And he's been eliminated by Kylie Ray, who's now apologising, saying, "I'm so sorry." It's the point of the match, Kylie. That's how you win. You throw people over the top rope, even though he's not meant to be in the match. I mean, it sucks when they did it with Ellsworth. It sucks when you do it with anyone. You don't need to do it. It said this match doesn't need it. I would have not been watching this match, and Madison Ray's been eliminated by Kylie Ray, who apologises once again. I was not watching this match saying that, oh, this match needs more Bravo. I wouldn't have gone, oh, this match would have been a 5-star match. But if I had Bravo dressed up as Rosemary, that's what I really needed to see. I need to never see that ever again. Why would you? I think the chat agrees with me there. Alicia Edwards is gone as well. You mentioned about who I thought wasn't the best worker. I thought that Alicia Edwards did not look great in this match. So now we have seen all of the entrants. So one of the people in the ring right now is going to be the #1 contender for the Knockouts Championship, as Rosemary attempts to make an elimination. So my pick's still in there. Kylie Ray is still my pick. Kira Hogan was eliminated. She was thrown out of the ring, landed on the steps, so she was safe, but realised I need to be eliminated, so rolled off of the steps onto the floor. If you had a bit of logic, you'd have just stayed on the steps. As we're down to our final 4 here. We have Kylie Ray, Kimberly, Taya Valkyrie and Rosemary as our final 4 here, as Kylie Ray and Kimberly go after each other. Body scissors in a cutter, sort of, by Kylie Ray. She's going to go for a clothesline, and Kimberly is eliminated, down to our final 3 of Kylie Ray, Taya Valkyrie and Rosemary. My pick's still in there. My pick has Alicia ever won a match? I don't know. Yeah, that's a good point, Vince. We heard that Susie was eliminated, and they didn't really do a Su Yung part of that. Surely that might be the way that we get down to our final 2 of Kylie Ray and Rosemary. We have Susie turn into Su Yung maybe, and then maybe Rosemary wins it because of the reuniting with of Su Yung and Rosemary, or we have Susie get the victory for our friend Kylie Ray. I think it's going to come down to those 2. I'm still going to go with Kylie Ray to win it though. Don't stray from your prediction. Always believe in your first pick. Oh. Rosemary has got Kylie Ray. Oh, Rosemary's been eliminated. Last 2 left is Kylie Ray and Taya Valkyrie. Now, the referee's in the ring. Does this mean the final of the match has to end by a pinfall? I'm not familiar with these rules. Kylie Rae selling the neck as well now. So these rules are a little bit confusing. I'd have preferred them to put up a, as we have, a destroyer. Destroyer by Kylie Rae and a super kick on Taya Valkyrie. That should be the victory. It won't be. Oh, it was. Kylie Rae won. 3 for 3, ladies and gentlemen. 3 for 3. Let my pro wrestling knowledge never be defeated or doubted. 3 for 3. Kylie Rae is the #1 contender for the Knockouts Championship, as per the prediction. You can't go against it. So that means in the future we could have a Kylie Rae versus whoever wins the match. You could have a Kylie Rae versus Deonna Purrazzo, or Kylie Rae versus Jordan Grace also in the future. Now that could be something. That could be something pretty damn special, couldn't it? I don't know about you, but I would like to see a Kylie Rae versus Deonna Purrazzo match. I think that'd be a lot of fun. What were your thoughts on that match? Did you enjoy it? Did you like whatever the Bravo bits were? Yeah, wasn't massive on that. It was a nice nice Kylie won, just like I thought. Also, that's what I'm saying. Although we're having a few Fight TV issues now. I don't know if everyone else is, but I'm getting it that my stream has crashed for Fight TV. I mean, that says how many people are watching, but that's not good. I mean, this is what you don't want when it comes to Impact Wrestling. Having the stream crash. It's funny as well because on Fight TV you have is anyone else having issues with Fight TV? Or is it just me? Ah, here we go. It's back up again. Man, Fight, sort it. And I missed Heath Slater's debut. You kidding me? Ah. That's typical, isn't it? Heath Slater debuts and I miss it. Because of Fight TV. Fight TV, I want my money back. I must say that microphone sounds awful. I need to sort that out. Pittsburgh saying he has no sound. Yeah, mine dropped for like a couple of minutes there. I mean, I was doing my best for Major Filler. Tyson Dargan just subscribed. Thanks for the subscription, pal. Thanks for joining us. Man, some of the production problems for Impact Wrestling tonight just don't look great, do they? Whether it is you're not getting the replays a couple of times, or I don't necessarily think this one was Impact's problem, but Fight TV crashes for people. I can barely hear them as well on the microphone. Well, Heath Slater there, what did he say? They are coming? They're coming. So who are they? Heath Slater with a neck breaker there, or they're calling him just Heath here. The surprises keep coming. Heath Slater looks great, doesn't he? Looks to be in the best shape of his life, best shape of his career. So from what they are trying to recap, because I didn't see it because of the Fight TV stream, but he jumps the guardrail, says they're coming, a bit of a Scott Hall type scenario as we're hyping up the main event now. I can't believe that. I can believe Heath Slater debuted. I can't believe that it crashes when Heath Slater arrives. I mean, for those, I mean, it's was it a $20 pay-per-view, and that's what you get. Terrible. As you see Eddie Edwards on the screen now. So it looks like we're going to have the X Division Championship match next. So Heath Slater made his debut with Impact Wrestling just then, but he's talking about other people coming to join him. Who are they? Who do you think is going to join? Who do you think is going to join him? Who do you think is going to be another surprise? We've already had the Motor City Machine Guns tonight. We know Gallows and Anderson are with Impact. We now have Heath in Impact as well. Who else do we think? Who else do we think? Be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. We've got a couple of new subscribers during this stream tonight, so I really appreciate that. As I mentioned earlier, we are taking donations at the link on the screen right now. It's at streamlabs.com/WrestleNews365. You don't have to contribute, but any little thing goes straight back into the channel, so I really appreciate that. As we're watching the package right now for the X Division Championship, Chris Bay versus Willie Mack. What do we think for this one, guys? Yeah, see, it's saying on Twitter is now a lot of people saying that the feed had crashed. Couldn't handle the Heath Slater element of it. Yep, a lot of people are talking about the production issues here, saying the show's marred with production issues. The mic isn't working for home audio. The stream isn't working and going down for everyone. Which is a shame. Maybe it's just the fact that they weren't expecting this demand that they're getting. David Cook says Heath's going to be part of the new Aces and Eights. Possibly. Vince Burr concurs. Richard Cartledge says, I think Matt Cardona possibly appearing later. I think so too, with Brian Myers. I think that's possibly. Heath Slater is crashing the internet. You're right. You're absolutely right. So X Division Championship is up next. As we potentially might have... I think this is where we're going to see Super Eric. This was my prediction. This is where we're going to see Super Eric was during this match. Is that better, man? I've just turned up the mic a little bit more there. Let me know if you can hear me all right. Obviously, as I mentioned, this is the first time we've done the watch along here, so as long as you can hear me all right, that's cool. The production tonight so far has been bad. They botched Heath's debut. Hey, it's unfortunate, isn't it? It is unfortunate because I think I wasn't the only one that had their stream crash there, which is a shame. It is a shame. So, X Division Championship next. Willie Mack, Chris Bay. Big fan of Chris Bay. I think his work's great. I think he's the kind of guy you want to have as X Division Champion. His work is just top-notch, solid. The question is, do we see much of Johnny Swinger in this one? David Crook predicts Rich Swann will turn on Willie Mack and cost him the X Division Championship. It's possible. It's possible. Vince says, yeah, mine didn't crash, but the volume turned off and the picture was bad. Yeah. At one point, Cody wanted bait. I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised. He's a top-notch talent. And if I could drop a little bit of a name here, he does indeed follow me on Twitter, which is the little things. You always pop when you get a follow on Twitter like that. I got followed the other day by Conrad Thompson, which is crazy when it's just just a guy in the UK just talking about wrestling, you know. Out comes Willie Mack, former NWA National Heavyweight Champion as well. Ian Thompson now thinks that the mystery opponent will now be James Storm. Of course, do we think Heath Slater or Heath appearing, do we think that is going to factor into some point later on in the show? And Don Callis is talking about wrestlers potentially calling his house for some reason. Now this match is going to be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to this one. Start off trading blows. Willie Mack's spinning discus punch there. If you've never seen Willie Mack perform, all I will say is nice arm drag by Chris Bay there. What I will say is don't judge a book by its cover. You might look at Willie Mack and go, why on earth is he the X Division champion? He can do some crazy stuff. And it looks like, I thought for a second that Willie Mack had the kind of like Razor Ramon kind of tights going on there. I don't know if that's the case. I can't get a good look. Chris Bay gets a bit of a timeout there. Oh, it's not. It's like bars of chocolate. I thought it was razor blades. And Chris Bay's so smooth. Nice! Neck breaker from the apron, or from the sort of outside of the ring, from the apron to the outside of the ring. That was nice. That looked rough on the neck of Chris Bay right there. Which match so far have you guys enjoyed the most? Which do you think has been the best match so far? See, I enjoyed the Motor City Machine Gun start, but I must say I did enjoy the TNA World Heavyweight Championship match for what it was. Willie Mack picks up Chris Bay, fall away slam. I mentioned the Scott Hall element. He's going to go for a kip up. Did you see how easy? And a standing moonsault. For a man of his size, not only that kip up was... That was like Shawn Michaels level, how easy that was. And then a standing moonsault just as easily. That was madness. Someone the size of Willie Mack should not be able to do that kind of thing. Incredible by Willie Mack there. As he works on Chris Bay in the corner. Chris Bay's style would have been perfect for AEW. No doubt, no doubt. I'm not sure where he would have fit though right now, I suppose. Which would have been difficult. I'd have liked to see matches from him against the likes of Darby Allin though. I think that would have been a lot of fun. Willie Mack kick to the face of Chris Bay. As he looks like he might just fall off. I think we're only, 5 minutes into this match, maybe? And I would say that this is probably easily the best match of the show. I could watch Willie Mack and Chris Bay wrestle for an hour. They're that good. Especially, like I said, a big fan of Chris Bay's work. I think he's great. I just love every time watching Willie Mack just being completely proved wrong about what he can do. Willie Mack's hanging in the ropes there. Sling blade to a Willie Mack that was hanging in the ropes there. Nice move. Gets a 2 count though. I'd say what is good with Impact so far, with obviously they've got Don Callis and Josh Matthews just there sitting at ringside, but you can't necessarily hear them too loud over the action, I would say, which is difficult. That's probably the only compliment I can give to their production tonight, considering that the crashing of the stream and the production problems that they're having, and the no house mic. I mean, looking back on it, it's such a missed opportunity, isn't it? What happened with that Heath Slater debut? Such a shame with that. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, it won't matter, but it's just funny. Listen to that slap. Whew. That was nasty. Kick to the gut there by Chris Bay to Willie Mack there. Roll through by Chris Bay, gets a 2 count. I don't know about you though, I enjoy a big slap to the face. It's just brutal. I think this has easily been the fastest paced match, which is what you accept from an sit-out powerbomb kind of move there by Willie Mack. Willie Mack's outrageous. Outrageous. Yeah, the ropes do seem loose, don't they? And I don't know if to me that doesn't do any favors to a match like this. I mean, I don't think they're ropes either. I think Impact, like AEW and like most wrestling companies, to be honest, use cables, use like the elevator cables, but they look really loose. I don't know how you'd be able to get any sense of spring off of that. It doesn't to me look like you could. Like, I wouldn't fancy myself doing a springboard on them because it doesn't look like it would be tight enough. Slammiversary still #1 in the States. That's awesome. That's great to hear. You just think the amount of people that have been watching it. I mean, that is why the Fight TV stream crashed for myself and others earlier, is because so many people are watching it. Which, when you consider all of the events that Fight TV has, should that necessarily actually happen? Probably not. You would like to think they would have had the facilities to manage that. As we have a roll through by Chris Bay there. Shoulders down and a 2 count. It goes for the Baymaster. We're going to have a sort of exploder suplex into the corner by Willie Mack. Oh, we're going to get a replay. Is it going to work? It is. Well, we kind of have. You can still hear Josh Matthews doing commentary in the background, but that's as good a replay that they've done so far in this show. I'll give them credit for it, as we kick out at 2 by Chris Bay there. Thank you everyone that is tuning in so far. We're currently on 30 viewers. I'm still amazed that there's actually even one person that wants to tune in, so I really appreciate everyone that's tuning in at the moment. As I mentioned earlier, if you haven't subscribed already, please do so. You'll pop up on the screen. We're on our road to 500 subscribers. We're currently at 469 subscribers, so on the road to 500, as Willie Mack is stuck on the top rope here by Chris Bay. He's going to go over in the corner, drop kick to the back of Willie Mack there, just bounced. That looked rough. He's going to set up for something else in the corner now. And reverse Irish whip. feet up into the face of Willie Mack. A little of a leg slapper there. And oh, code red. That might be 2. Nice code red there. A little tribute to the Amazing Red. I think Willie Mack's contacts come out as well. What do we think? Who's going to still win this one? I had Chris Bay for this one. I think I'm still on track. Thanks, my man, David Cook. I'll be here every time you've got an event streaming like this. I appreciate that, brother. Willie Mack's going to go up to the top rope. Those ropes do look loose, don't they? Willie Mack's going up top. Goes for 6 stars. Rolls through. Chris Bay. Oh, he's pushing to the referee, though. Kind of a ref bump. Thumb to the eye. Or rakes the eyes. Bay. Oh, crucifix style thing doesn't work. Bit of a botch. I think he's going for some kind of like crucifix bomb or something like that. Is he going to go for it again? Goes into a springboard cutter instead. This might be it. And Chris Bay is the new X Division champion. Chris Bay wins it. Hey, I'm on fire with my predictions, but we've got a new X Division champion in Chris Bay. Enjoyed the match. I thought the match was good. Finish was kind of botched. They had to go to a springboard cutter instead of the crucifix pin. But Chris Bay is the new X Division champion. Predictions are still on track. I think Chris Bay is the just the perfect. Oh, here we see Heath's backstage high-fiving, and there he is. Heath and Rhino, they're reunited. And Scott D'Amore's come in as well. Making history. And we're having still... Scott D'Amore says Heath Slater looks great. Heath Slater's called himself the hottest free agent. He's saying that Heath Slater doesn't actually work here. It's a pandemic, social distance. Looks like Scott D'Amore's going to cut him out. He's going to throw him out. They can't have guests. And Heath Slater's been asked to leave. Man, Heath Slater looks jacked. Man, Scott D'Amore went from 100 to 0 pretty quickly there, didn't he? He looked all happy to see Heath Slater. Saying, oh, it's great. Look at you two. You've got history. You're going to have to leave, though. Poof. Ouch. Well, Heath Slater looks to be kicked out. Because he doesn't officially work with Impact. I suspect we are going to see Heath Slater back here tonight. And it looks like we're going to have up next Tag Team Championships. It looks like it's going to be the North versus Shamrock and Callahan up next. What do we think about this one? Shamrock versus Callahan. Shamrock versus Callahan? Sorry, the North versus Shamrock and Callahan. Getting ahead of myself. What do we have predictions for this one? I still have the North retaining in this one. My predictions so far, I don't think I've ever been this close with my predictions. Ken Shamrock, he's, what is he, 50, 55, 56 or something like that? And he still just looks in, I mean, crazy good shape. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, I don't want to sound like I don't want to sound like Jim Cornette here or anything like that. But if this was a real life fight, I'm pretty confident that even Ken Shamrock, at 56 years of old, could absolutely beat the hell out of Sami Callihan. Like, I just think he would. So, I think that's a pretty safe bet with that one. But I don't think that Shamrock or Callihan should be winning this one. I'm just not a fan of non-established teams beating established teams, especially in the case of the North, who, let's be honest, the North have been the tag team champions for over a year. They're, for me, the best tag team in Impact Wrestling right now. And the Motor City Machine Guns, they've just returned tonight. I want to see a North versus Motor City Machine Guns match. That's what we've got to hope to see in the future, right? I'm still going to go with the North to win this one. But I think we're going to have some form of Callihan and Shamrock, I don't know what to call it, confrontation at some point in this match. Certainly without a doubt, as we see Sami Callihan about to make his entrance. I mean, we had Sami Callihan making his entrance there, and we had the blackout and the flickering of the screen. I just assumed that my stream had gone down again with Fight TV. That's how nervous I am. That's how bad the Fight TV stream has been at certain points. Of course, yeah, and I want to see the North versus the Good Brothers at some point as well. I think a lot of people want to see that. A lot of people want to work with the North. When FTR got their releases by WWE, they went on Talking Jericho, didn't they? And they were open about saying that they wanted to work with the North at some point too, because the North are a team that everyone wants to work with because they're a good tag team. As we see Ken Shamrock out next. Josh Matthews called him the first ever TNA World Heavyweight Champion, which isn't exactly correct. He was the first ever NWA World Heavyweight Champion, whilst NWA had affiliation with TNA at the time. It was NWA TNA. I mean, he still looks great. And Ken Shamrock's always looked great. Go back and look at those 97, 98 Ken Shamrocks. Ginormous. As we see the North about to make their entrance. So do we see Gallows and Anderson in this one? So far we think about the surprises we've seen tonight. Seen the Machine Guns, seen Heath. But that's been about it. Maybe we see Gallows and Anderson at this point. Or do Gallows and Anderson feature into Heath Slater also? He did mention that they were coming. See, this is what I mean. You've got Ken Shamrock and Sami Callihan before the match already pushing each other. They shouldn't be beating an established tag team like the North. In my opinion, of course. Richard Cartley says that there's at least one more surprise to go. I think you might be right, man. I think you might be right. I think there might be even more than one more. We'll have to wait and see. Shamrock goes for the arm from the start of Josh Alexander. And the ref broke it up for some random reason. As Josh Alexander takes down Shamrock, but Shamrock transitions into what's almost to be a LeBow lock, I guess, there. Goes for a go-go play. He's going to lock in the ankle lock, and Alexander gets to the ropes. Do I think that the North will win? I think so. I think the North was going to win this one. That's my prediction for this match. That was my prediction from the predictions and previews video. And my predictions so far tonight have been spot on. So I mean, I can't change it now. I've got to continue going, right? Ian Thompson says the new aces and eights will be Doc Gallows and Kyle Anderson as the tag team, Mr. Anton as the mid-carder, D'Lo Brown as the manager and the VP, and Bully Ray as the president. I mean, I hope, man, I hope Bully Ray comes back to Impact Wrestling. Obviously, I've mentioned it before that I'm a big fan of the aces and eights, and Bully Ray's run as the president of the aces and eights, I think it's just really underrated. I think it's because of the time that there was a bit of chaos going on with Impact Wrestling. As Sami Callihan currently works on Josh Alexander, kick to the back. As the page has been tagged in. That did not look good. So Sami Callihan sort of kicks Ethan Page into Alexander and they kind of falls down. Yeah, didn't look great, that bit. As he tags in Ken Shamrock now, who's going to work on the knee of Ethan Page. It's crazy to think it took this long for Shamrock to really come back to professional wrestling, because obviously Shamrock was the first and TNA's first champion as the NWA World Heavyweight Champion in 2002, and he would make a sporadic amount of wrestling appearances, but it's taken him till he's about 55 to come back to wrestling on a regular basis. I know mixed martial arts has become more and more lucrative over the years, but you would have thought as his age increased he would have instead gone to wrestling. It's strange it took him this long. I said I'm a big fan of Ken Shamrock. His work in the Attitude Era always... I think Ken Shamrock, to be honest, if it was in any other era apart from the Attitude Era, he'd have, in my opinion, no doubt, been a world champion. Even back in the Attitude Era, I think he could have been a world champion. It's just that roster was so stacked at the time. How'd you compete with Rock, Austin, Undertaker, and the rest? It's hard. It's hard. What are we thinking then in terms of predictions for this one? As I mentioned, I'm going to go with the North. Surprised how much offense we're getting in and how much cohesion we're seeing from Shamrock and Callihan so far. To me, usually when you have these kind of situations where you have the dysfunctional tag team working so well and so in sync and getting a lot of offense in, that means the finish is most likely them becoming once again dysfunctional and them losing. I think that's what we're going to get here. Ken Pachero says awesome show so far. I agree. It's been a fun show, hasn't it? It's been it's been something that I think Impact should be quite proud of. Apart from some of the production problems, which the less said about those, the better, I suppose. But I think they've done so far a decent show. I think we're far from over. We're about an hour and 40 minutes into it now, so we're about halfway through, I would say. As the North attacking Ken Shamrock on the outside of the ring. This Alexander rakes the eyes of Ken Shamrock. I don't know if it's just me or because of the eye for an eye deal tomorrow that we're going to see at Extreme Rules with Rey Mysterio and Seth Rollins, but I'm just noticing so many eye references tonight. So many eye references. It's like so many eye pokes, so many eye rakes. Oh, chop to Ken Shamrock, who no-sells it and just punches him straight in the face. And Ken Shamrock can still go. I mean, there's no doubt in my mind that Ken Shamrock can still go, even at his age. I mean, maybe he's, a little bit exhausted, but he can still go. And I think Impact Wrestling's use of Ken Shamrock has actually been very, very good. Very good. That's how you use a legend properly. Ken Shamrock double clothesline for both members of the North there. I'm surprised they've decided to get the heat on Shamrock. It would have surprised me. I would have thought it would be more likely to get it on Sami Callihan. Perhaps that's the point. It was the weakest hot tag in the world. Shamrock just sort of tagged him a guy out of the ring. Sami Callihan. Brainbuster on Ethan Page. 1, 2. Kick out by Ethan Page. So who do we think is going to turn on who? I think the North are going to win this one, which would suggest that we're going to see some form of dysfunction from Shamrock and Callihan. Is Callihan going to be the one to turn on Shamrock, or is Shamrock going to be the one to turn on Callihan? So didn't get that many eye references when AEW did it. It is. It's true. It's true. Feels like every reference, there's just so many eye references at the moment. Josh Alexander goes after Sami Callihan on the outside. Drop kick by Ethan Page. Another unbelievable drop kick. That's 3 tonight that we've seen. The drop kick game in Impact Wrestling is off the charts. Don't forget to give this video a like if you haven't already. It helps us go up the recommendations ranking on YouTube. So I really appreciate everyone that's tuned in or has liked this video already. We've already seen one championship change so far tonight, of course, at Slammiversary. We've also seen the return of the Motor City Machine Guns, the debut of Heath Slater in Impact Wrestling. We're still yet to see an appearance from Gallows and Anderson. There's a lot more that is going to happen tonight, I have no doubt. And Ethan Page is screaming at Ken Shamrock and doing a double bicep flex. Only in professional wrestling. Only in professional wrestling is that completely acceptable and normal. Josh Matthews has just spoken about a fan question that Kurt Angle is a free agent right now, and could we get a Ken Shamrock versus Kurt Angle match in an Impact Wrestling ring? No, thank you. To me, look, big fan of Kurt Angle, but it was very obvious in that final run with WWE there that, look, he needed to get out of the ring. He's not the Kurt Angle he once was. Vince McMahon wanted him to stay an extra year, and he's like, my body's not up to it. To me, it's not worth it for a match against Ken Shamrock, who's also 56 years old in Impact Wrestling. It doesn't do anyone any favours. So, no thank you. No thank you. You know, I'm as annoyed as anyone that we had to have Baron Corbin retire Kurt Angle at WrestleMania, but it is what it is when it comes to that. It's annoying, but I like people to stick to their retirements. And look, Kurt Angle finished his career in the right way when it came to WWE anyway, didn't he? So I don't want to see that in Impact Wrestling. No, thank you. As we have Ethan Page and Sami Callihan both down in the ring right now. Looking for the both tag teams looking for the tag. As we get tags in, here comes Ken Shamrock, goes in, Josh Alexander, kicks, sort of. He tags in Sami Callihan once again. Sami Callihan's too busy putting his thumb up. And Callihan goes after Alexander. There's no Ethan Page. Callahan goes to the top rope. The North do a straight jacket throw to Sami Callahan here. And a double team. Punch Ken Shamrock off the apron. Well, that was a 3 count then. Sami Callahan kicks out. And it looks like we're going to have a tag back into Josh Alexander now. As Ethan Page gives a right hand to Ken Shamrock on the apron too. David Cook says Shamrock will fireball Callahan and then walk out of the match. Man, obviously Callahan was the one to give Ken Shamrock a fireball when he was announced for the Hall of Fame, wasn't he? Wouldn't mind seeing that. Callahan tags in Ken Shamrock, who gets in the ring eventually, slowly. Shamrock belly to belly Alexander over the top rope. Callahan goes to kick to Page in the gut, completely misses, but he gets kicked in the face by Ethan Page. Gotta go for a kick to Shamrock. Shamrock's rolled him over though. Ankle lock is locked in. Ankle lock's locked in. Are we going to see new tag team champions here? Josh Alexander comes in. Oh, Josh Alexander. He looks like he's going to lock in. Now we've got dueling ankle locks. That's what I just said, Josh Matthew. Dueling ankle locks. We've got Ken Shamrock with the ankle lock locked in on Ethan Page. We've got Josh Alexander with the ankle lock on Sami Callahan. They both roll through. Ethan Page collapsed on his own weight. As we see a cutter, RKO by Callahan on Ethan Page. Shamrock takes Alexander down. Locks in the ankle lock on Josh Alexander this time. Who is the legal man at this point? Ethan Page pushes Sami Callahan into Shamrock, which breaks it up. This is the spot that I thought we might get. Ken Shamrock looks annoyed with Callahan, asking what he's doing. Callahan pushes Shamrock in the face. Shamrock's another one, needs a chest protector. His chest looks like chopped meat. Alexander throws Shamrock into Callahan. Ripcord. Looks GTS and a kick to the back. Looks like Sami Callahan's got a pile driver on Josh Alexander. Goes for the pin, but it's broken up by Ethan Page. Getting a little bit clustery. A little bit clustery, I will say at this point. The referee needs to enforce the rules a little bit. Ask Ken Shamrock to get out of the ring. As we have Callahan and Ethan Page brawling on the outside now. Well, Ken Shamrock just accidentally kicked Callahan when he was going to kick Alexander. Again, we're getting these miscommunications now, which is all part of the story here. Josh Alexander's going to look to go to the top rope here, it looks like, with Ken Shamrock in the middle of the ring. Ken Shamrock's going to the top rope, though, to meet him. Right up to the tippy top rope. Is he going to go for a belly-to-belly? Super belly-to-belly from the top rope by Ken Shamrock to Josh Alexander. Ken Shamrock is 56 years old, ladies and gentlemen, still. He's a madman. Ken Shamrock. Oh, my God. Ken Shamrock went to dive onto the North over the top rope. Tripped on the top rope, kind of, and just splatted on the floor. My word. That is going to hurt. He's rolled Ken Shamrock in the ring here. Where's Sami Callahan? He's still on the outside. The North setting up Ken Shamrock here. Here we go. 2. That's it. That's 3. The North hit a sort of gotch style neutralizer, double neutralizer. They go to pin Ken Shamrock, but you can see Sami Callihan in the background, so I thought Sami Callihan was going to break that up, but he doesn't get there in time. And it's 3, and that's it. And we've got Ethan Page on the mic. Post-match promo can only mean one thing. Looks like we could be getting a debut here. They're talking about being 1 calendar year as the tag team champions, and that no one wanted to ask them for their comment as being the tag team champions for 1 year. Talking about decimating an entire division. We've got to be getting a Gallows and Anderson interruption now, haven't we? Surely. I think I'm surprised that they've just, you know, going into this, it was all about Sami Callihan and Shamrock. Can they get on? The answer is no, and now it's post-match promo. No one cares. Here we go. The North saying that there is no team with better chemistry, no team with more devastating tag team tactics. They're the greatest team in Impact Wrestling history. Here we go again. They're back. I mentioned it earlier. They were the team that came to mind when I said as a team I wanted to see face the North. It's the Motor City Machine Guns. They're back. Talk about a loaded tag team division now. Where are the Good Brothers though? They said that they're the greatest tag team in Impact Wrestling history. Well, you look back on Impact Wrestling history, you got to think of the Motor City Machine Guns. Alex Shelley said he disagrees. I do too, for what it's worth. Chris Sabin says, if you're the greatest, you don't need to remind everyone over and over and over again. At least we have the microphones working now at this point. That's a positive. Since that wasn't the case a couple of minutes ago when Heath Slater made his debut. Well, we got an announcement. Whoa, big match. Big match. Chris Sabin announces that on this Tuesday's edition of Impact Wrestling on Access Television, we have a Impact Tag Team Championship match. We have the North defending against the Motor City Machine Guns. The match that I mentioned I wanted to see earlier on. I wanted to see the North go up against the Motor City Machine Guns, and we don't have to wait long. It's going to be on Tuesday. I'm going to be watching. I don't know about you. Are you going to be watching? Oh, here we go. The Good Brothers are here, and apparently this is their locker room. She's going to try and get an interview. Is it going to be the Good Brothers? It ain't the Good Brothers, it's Rich Swann. He says he's here to support Willie Mack. He lost. That worked. He's talking about who's going to be the fourth person in this Impact World Championship match. But the question is if that was indeed the Good Brothers' locker room, what was Rich Swann doing in there? Is she not going to answer that question? That's the question I would say. I was like, I've got some information. This was Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson's dressing room. So what are you doing in there? Talk about dodging the questions. Looks like we could have Knockouts Championship up next. Knockouts Championship looks to be up next. Jordynne Grace defending against Deonna Purrazzo. Well, it would look like he is still injured, Ian, because he was on crutches then, so we'll have to wait and see. Who do we think's winning this one? In my prediction so far, well, yeah, it would be too an obvious question to ask. You're right. That's why I'm not a reporter for Impact Wrestling. See, I'd probably get sacked after 5 minutes for asking too many questions. Too many questions that actually have a little bit of logic there. In terms of who do I think is going to win this one, I mentioned in the predictions video that I'm going to go with Deonna Purrazzo under the assumption that she has signed a contract with Impact Wrestling. Previously, we knew that Impact Wrestling and Deonna Purrazzo just had a per appearance deal, but I'm thinking that they wouldn't put her in this position. They wouldn't have Deonna Purrazzo in a position on a major pay-per-view, on probably the most viewed pay-per-view of the year for Impact Wrestling, without signing her to a contract. So I think she signed a deal, and I think she is going to be the next Knockouts champion. That is what I think. So far, the predictions tonight, I don't think I've ever been on this much of a roll when it comes to predictions for a pay-per-view. What do you guys think? David Cook hopes Jordynne Grace retains. Des Holmes, either EC3 or Super Eric is the mystery opponent. Certainly a possibility. And here we go. Knockouts Championship is up next, as we have Deonna Purrazzo make her entrance. Ian Thompson thinks Deonna Purrazzo is going to win. I agree. And it's been officially announced on Impact Wrestling's Twitter stream that the North will defend the Impact World Tag Team Championships against the Motor City Machine Guns this coming Tuesday on Impact Wrestling. Everyone's talking about it, aren't they? Everyone is talking about Impact Wrestling right now. Slammiversary over here in the UK looks to be trending third worldwide over here in the UK rather. It's because I'm trying to do 3 things at once. I'm trying to tweet and do all of this at the same time. If you get them all right, go for the National Lottery Saturday night. I wish. It'd be just my luck though. I mean, instead of getting the luck on something like the lottery, I get luck on Impact Wrestling Slammiversary predictions. I know which one I'd rather have more luck in. As here comes Jordynne Grace to the ring. I know I've said this about quite a few people tonight, but big fan of Jordynne Grace's work. I think she's very unique. Work is really solid, proper power wrestler, but it's just she doesn't hide. What's the phrase? Isn't it? Extenuate your positives, hide your negatives. She does that to a T. One thing I will say though, maybe a slightly controversial opinion here, but I don't know. I'm not sure I like that Knockouts Championship. I prefer the old one. I like the original Knockouts Championship with the white leather belt. I like that. I'm glad I got Access TV to watch the Motor City Machine Guns stomp the North this Tuesday. It's a possibility. See, I'd much rather have the Motor City Machine Guns beat the North as opposed to Shamrock and Callahan there, because they're an established tag team. It makes sense. It works. If you're going to have anyone end the tag team reign of the North, you can't go wrong with the Motor City Machine Guns. You really can't. Vince Burr says, I'm not sure who I want to win this one. It's a tough one. I don't think it's as cut and dry as the other matches that we've seen tonight. I think maybe that's probably why my predictions have all been right so far, is because they possibly maybe have been just quite easy to predict. Whereas this one is certainly, it could go either way. But I still think Gianna Peraza is going to win this one, but could go either way. And the Knockouts division is great in Impact. It's awesome. One of my biggest problems with AEW right now is I think their women's division just isn't up to scratch. It just isn't good enough. Whereas you compare that to Impact Wrestling here, and Impact Wrestling's knockout division is just way better than AEW's. Obviously, it's improving AEW's. Hikaru Shida, Nyla Rose, I think are good workers, but not a candle. Doesn't hold a candle to Impact's knockout division, without a shadow of a doubt. As we see Gianna Peraza taking her time on the outside, taking what is known as a powder. The referee is counting her out, and Gianna Peraza having to go back. As we see maybe a test of strength coming up next. We'll go behind. And a shoulder block by Jordynne Grace there. Rich Cutler says, plus AEW is awful at getting people over. It's... I wouldn't say they're terrible at getting people over. I would say there's definitely, in my opinion, there's a slight concern for me with AEW. And I know obviously we're going a bit off on a tangent here because we're watching the Knockouts Championship match here. But the thing I will say of AEW is a bit concerning for me is when you look at some of the heels that they've hot-shotted into quite main event or prominent matches, and then afterwards they just have nothing. Lance Archer, Brody Lee. I'm concerned a little bit about Brian Cage. I don't think it's the same with him. Sean Spears was the same. Got a rocket on him to face Cody at All Out last year, and then what's he done since? I think it's a concern. It's a concern. But I do agree in the chat there. It will take time. It will take time for that division to grow. The thing is that people forget with AEW is there's never necessarily been a company like it in the sense that, I mean, this is only the second year of their existence, isn't it? Whereas in comparison, a company like a WCW or even Impact, when it got on Spike TV, had been around for a few years at least. So it's difficult. It's difficult to fully judge that. I do agree with it. Ian Thompson says, I've just checked Slammiversary Wikipedia page, and it said Ace Austin versus Eddie Edwards versus Trey versus Heath Slater, but it changed right back to TBD. To be honest, anyone can edit Wikipedia, so I wouldn't be surprised. I don't think that's a spoiler or anything like that. People can edit whatever on Wikipedia. In fact, one of the more humorous things with Wikipedia is sometimes when you're watching like a good football match over here and someone like scores an own goal, people will change that they actually play for the team that they scored the own goal against. Like, that sums up what you can do with Wikipedia, I suppose. We'll have to wait and see. I think at this point, if the mystery opponent was Heath, after we've seen the introduction of him already in the show, for me it would be a little bit of a letdown. As Gianna Peraza continues to work over Jordynne Grace here, goes for a clothesline, doesn't knock her down. A second one, a third one does knock her down though. But only a 1 count. Whereabouts in the world do we have all of our people watching on the stream tonight? Over here, of course, in the UK, it's currently 5 minutes past 3 rather, in the morning. Hardcore UK watchers. Gianna Peraza continues to try and work over the arm of Jordynne Grace here. Richard Cartley says, yeah, Wikipedia once said Chuck Norris killed the dinosaurs. Well, I think that one is an actual fact, Rich. I think that actually is a fact. It's a well-known fact that Chuck Norris killed the dinosaurs. AJ Styles was there on his flat earth when it happened, so it's true. But Gianna Peraza is locked in an armbar here. But Jordynne Grace rolls through. It's going to go for the Grace driver. But Deonna Purrazzo goes into a cross arm breaker. Chuck Norris versus Ken Shamrock are bound for glory. I mean, I want it to happen, but according to Wikipedia, he's too busy killing dinosaurs. That's the problem. Can you book him away from killing dinosaurs? I probably should focus on this match, but the Chuck Norris thing has thrown me. He's still going for the cross arm breaker by Deonna Purrazzo here. But Jordynne Grace gets to the rope. If you haven't subscribed already to the channel, please do. We're on the road to 500 subscribers. We're currently at 470 subscribers, only 30 to go. So if you haven't subscribed to WrestleNews 365, please do. As we get on the road to 500 subscribers and on the long road to 1,000 subscribers. You can also support the channel by donating at streamlabs.com/WrestleNews 365. You don't have to. But if you want to support the channel, that's the way to do it. As we have Deonna Purrazzo continue to work over the arm of Jordynne Grace. I like this in a match when they work over a body part. It's a nice story. It's a classic story. It's logic. There's psychology. As Jordynne Grace hits a forearm to the back of the head. Deonna Purrazzo is going for the Irish whip here, but it doesn't look like it. Forearm to the face by Jordynne Grace as well there. And another shoulder tackle. Oh, running senton there to the back. Kick out there too by Deonna Purrazzo. What are our thoughts on this match so far? Are you enjoying it? Is it living up to expectations? Certainly physical. It kind of feels like, to me, that it was quite difficult. I think they've done well, but it's quite a difficult spot for them coming out of that tag team match. Not that the tag team match was anything spectacular, but you have the announcement of the Machine Guns versus the North this week. If there was a crowd, the crowd would be coming down after that announcement. So I thought they've done very well. That's right, Glenn Hunt, WWE Extreme Rules tomorrow night on WWE Network. We'll be doing a watch along here on the channel for that also. So be sure to check us out there. As we have Jordynne Grace locking a submission here. Deonna Purrazzo looking like she might be quickly passing out. We're doing the arm up in the air. Arm doesn't go down once. I love that spot. They don't do that enough anymore. The whole... Oh, she rolls through and it gets a 2 count. They don't do the whole lift the arm up, drop down. Lift the arm up, drop down. Lift the arm up, drop down. They don't do it enough. You used to have it with Hogan, didn't you? And on the third one, he'd always have the little finger wagging. That's just pro wrestling, isn't it? That's classic pro wrestling. You can't go wrong with that. Jordynne Grace looks to be favouring the arm there, considering that Deonna Purrazzo had worked over it for this entire match, which of course makes the most sense. But again, hangs up the arm over the rope by Deonna Purrazzo. She's getting a lot of offense in here. So, could go a couple of ways, this one. Sometimes when they get this much offense in, like Deonna Purrazzo has, it makes you think that Jordynne Grace could do the ultimate babyface thing, come back, prevail and get the victory, or it's going to factor into the finish. Oh. Looked to be the Grace driver there, but kicks out at 2, didn't get all of it. But again, that's where the psychology and the way that they've built the match works. She didn't get all of it. It was a botch. But you can just say, oh, they were working over the arm during the match, so she couldn't get all of it, like Don Callis does on commentary. That's why Don Callis is a great commentator, And that's why working over a body part makes sense. Because the story that you can tell in the match actually can facilitate when things don't look perfect. Oh, Gianna Purrazzo, she's countered. She locked in a submission hold, but the ref nearly counted her out. Double A spinebuster, deadlift. Double A spinebuster from Jordynne Grace there. I think Jordynne Grace has got awesome double A style spinebuster. That one wasn't exactly crisp, but she just deadlifted her. Threw her to the floor. Absolutely brutal. Referee counting both competitors out at the moment. What would you think if we know that Heath Slater says that they are coming? Aren't technically the majority of the members of the Nexus no longer with WWE? David Otunga's technically under contract for kickoff shows. And Daniel Bryan's still with the company, but I think pretty much everyone else is no longer with the company. They couldn't, could they? Could they? Not only do you have the Aces and Eights coming back, but you have a version of the Nexus in Impact Wrestling? Maybe. I'm just putting it out there. If it happens, you can show people this clip. Jordynne Grace hits the ropes. Punt kick to the face of Jordynne Grace. Kick to the arm once again. Continues to work over that arm. Nice psychology. Nice by Gianna Purrazzo also there as well. But a kick out by Jordynne Grace. See, I've only got thoughts of the Nexus now in my mind. Could we actually get a Nexus thing in Impact Wrestling? Very unlikely. I know, very, very unlikely. But possible. So we're definitely into the home stretch of this match, I would say, so far. Richard Cutler says maybe EC3, EY, Matt Cardona, Brian Myers, and Mike Bennett. I mean, we're talking about a potential stable here, whether it's going to be the Aces and Eights. I mentioned there the Nexus. It's obviously not going to be the Nexus. But maybe it's just going to be a brand new stable. I mentioned on the EC3 videos we've done here on the channel. It's as we get knees to the back there by Jordynne Grace. Why doesn't EC3 just have his own stable called Control Your Narrative or The Narrative? I think The Narrative as a stable name would be great. We have Jordynne Grace, Vader Bomb. But gets a 2 count only. What do you think of The Narrative as a stable name? That wouldn't be too bad. Or if EC3 had a stable of his own, what do you think the stable name should be? Let me know your thoughts in the chat there. I think we're just about to get to the finish because I heard someone shout 1 minute. Again, it's the issue of having no crowd. When you've got no crowd, it's just part of the problem, isn't it? Jordynne Grace elbows to the back of the head, the back of the neck. Jordynne Grace. Oh, rolls through. Jackknife cover. Rolls through. Jordynne Grace is going to try and get him out for the powerbomb. But Diana rolls out. Goes for the arm. Jordynne Grace rolls through once again. She's got her in. Armbar. Looking for a double armbar. Whoa, that looks rough. A double armbar and she gives up. And we have a new Impact Knockouts champion. The streak, like The Undertaker at the first 30 WrestleManias, continues because I have predicted it right once again. Gianna Purrazzo is the new Impact Knockouts champion. This is why you subscribe to WrestleNews 365. This is why you come to WrestleNews 365, because you get predictions like this. Deonna Purrazzo, the new Impact Knockouts champion. What are your thoughts on that result? I don't know about you, but I really enjoyed that match. I thought the last 5 minutes or so were very, very, very good. Deonna Purrazzo not getting the time of day in WWE NXT. It's their loss, and she won't be the first, and unfortunately she won't be the last to be the case. And we've still got the main event to come. So far tonight, what have we got? We've got X Division Championship has changed hands tonight. We've got a new champion in Chris Bay. We've got the Knockouts Championships changed hand. Deonna Purrazzo has won the Knockouts Championship. We've got the return of the Motor City Machine Guns. We've also got the debut of Heath Slater in Impact Wrestling. And we're not even done yet. And they're just hyping up Bound for Glory coming up next. Oh, coming up next, Bound for Glory. They're hoping up Bound for Glory coming in October. We're going to have the main event coming up next. The World Championship is going to be up next. There you go. Bound for Glory is on the screen right now. 24th of October, 2020. I mean, who even knows what the world is going to be like at that point, right? Who knows with everything that's happened so far. I mean, the last pay-per-view for Impact Wrestling was Hard to Kill, right? And that was January. It was January, and look at where we are now with Slammiversary. So much has happened as we get the promo package for the Impact Wrestling World Championship main event. It's main event time. Heath Slater's Impact name is just Heath. It looks like it is. So he will just be known as Heath. But to me, and I think to most people, he'll be known as Heath Slater, won't he? I mean, that's just how these things kind of work. I've only just started adjusting to calling John Moxley again. And like Zack Ryder for me is going to be a tough one because he's just always been Zack Ryder, right? Even though before that he was one of the Major Brothers, I guess. But he's just always going to be Zack Ryder, even though we're going to call him Matt Cardona. So what are we thinking? Main event time, what are we thinking for the prediction for the main event? Again, I don't want to toot my own horn, but toot, toot, toot. So far, I've been spot on. 100% on the predictions so far for this show. And my prediction for the main event is that the mystery opponent, whoever it may be, I think it's going to be EC3, will be the next Impact World Champion. A little bit of an insight to the method of my madness here as well. But if you look at the graphic on the screen right now, obviously you can see Eddie Edwards, you can see Ace Austin, you can see Trey, but you can also see a silhouette of the mystery fourth competitor. Little known fact. Now this could be egg on my face, but that actually is a silhouette of EC3. I was that confident that it is going to be EC3. If it isn't him, I just look like, the egg will be on my face. We see EC3 on the screen just there. So we'll have to see. Des Holmes says EC3 is sure going to debut. This is to be honest, this is kind of what the show's been built on. Obviously, it's been built on the likes of a previous world champion. This show's been built on the debuts, returns, mystery people, these ex-WWE superstars signing. I think people thought we would have seen Zack Ryder or Brian Myers at this point. We haven't. So we'll have to wait and see. We've seen Heath Slater's debut tonight. But we haven't seen any other ex-WWE superstars as of yet. We've had a reference to the Good Brothers. There was meant to be an interview outside their locker room earlier on, but we saw Rich Swann instead of Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson, but we know they're there. So I'm assuming they're going to be involved in this main event somehow. So how is this going to work? we go. We're going to have the entrances. We don't have to wait much longer. Main event time. Here comes Ace Austin. I know this could be, we can say this about everything during this whole pandemic era professional wrestling, or pandemic era of life that we're living in at the moment. But if it is EC3, and like with Heath's debut earlier on and the Motor City Machine Guns, just imagine the crowd reaction that we would have got. You know, it's just, it sucks, isn't it? But I'm a big part of the camp that until it's safe to have fans back in the arenas, then only when it's safe. Only when it's safe. He looks like Tyler X, doesn't he? But a really bad version. Like he's aged like 40 years. David Crook says, Mystery Man, Rusev, Miro. I don't think it's likely. He tested positive for COVID-19 only a couple of days ago. So he's going to likely be in self-isolation, quarantine for 2 weeks. So unlikely to be Miro, unfortunately. I'd love to see Rusev in Impact Wrestling, but it just doesn't look to be the case. Yeah, missing out on a ton of stuff this year. I'm glad we got the Edge return, though, in front of the crowd. I mean, if that's what we get from 2020, then I guess I'm content with that. That would have been a travesty to have that return not happen in front of a crowd. As out comes Eddie Edwards. What are your thoughts on Eddie Edwards' in-ring attire? He looks like he's just sort of walked into the arena as is. He's bumped into it. Oh, I'll have a wrestling match. I agree, Vince. I'm really surprised no Eric Young also, unless, like you said, we see him in this match. Would you be disappointed to have Eric Young as a mystery opponent in this? Here we go. Who's going to be the final opponent? Who's it going to be? The suspense is killing me. Oh, wow. It's Rich Swann's music. And out comes Rich Swann. And he's no longer on crutches. And the final one looks to be Rich Swann. Oh, dear. There are going to be a lot of people on social media that are pretty peed off if this is the case. I mean, I don't know if this is fully confirmed yet, because I mean, my silence is deafening, isn't it? Again, I don't have a problem with Rich Swann. Rich Swann's a great competitor. Former X Division champion, former Cruiserweight champion. Great in-ring worker. Should he be in this spot, though? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Yeah, this is... What are your thoughts? Rich Swann. Yeah, it's not great. Oh, here we go. Something else. Music's playing here. Maybe it's not going to be just Rich Swann. Who is that? It's Eric Young. Eric Young is back. It's not the old Eric Young thing, but it's Eric Young. We mentioned Eric Young. It's not Super Eric, but it's Eric Young. There's your former TNA World Heavyweight Champion. There's your former Impact World Champion. He's done it all in Impact Wrestling, and he is back. Well, it beats Rich Swann. So maybe this is a 5-man match now. Eric Young. I wish he had his old music though. I preferred his old music, but Eric Young. Well, at least we get a surprise. He's going to get the microphone here. Man, you forgot how he talked. His voice is rough. He says this is now a 5-way match. He won his World Championship at Slammiversary, and he's going to do the same tonight. Eric Young is in this match. It's a 5-way, and it's an elimination style match. If you were unfamiliar with Eric Young, during his time in WWE, he got a lot of tattoos. A lot of tattoos. So what are your thoughts on having Eric Young as the returning, I guess, mystery competitor in this match? Not massive on having Rich Swann in it, to be honest. Again, no slight against Rich Swann. It's just kind of like, we did get the surprise being Eric Young. No EC3, unfortunately. I mean, I was cool to see Eric Young back. I'm a bit lukewarm to it. I still think we haven't seen the last of a debut or return tonight. We know that the Good Brothers are there. We know that Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson are there. They were obviously announced to have signed with Impact last night. They've been talked about on this show about their locker room. I would assume they're going to come out post-match. The question is, who's going to come out with them? That, to me, is where you have an EC3 return. They mentioned that a former world champion is returning and bringing friends with him. Maybe the former Impact or the former world champion returning still is EC3, and the friends he's bringing with him are Gallows and Anderson, being the new reformation of Aces and Eights. But man, my silhouette, I mean, my graphics all wrong now. Impact Wrestling have screwed me. Not only is my silhouette wrong, because it was EC3, but it's now a 5-way match. This is what happens when you're live. We're live, pal. Choke slam on Eddie Edwards onto the ring apron then. You wait for someone on commentary to say it's the hardest bit of the ring. I agree, Henry. I think it's a difficult spot for Rich Swann to be put in. It's to me, that's the equivalent of the Rey Mysterio entering at number 30 in the 2014 Royal Rumble, or the 2014 Royal Rumble, when people wanted it to be Daniel Bryan. It's no fault against Rey, and it's not Rich Swann's fault, but people wanted this. You know, people had their expectations up high for something, and maybe didn't get it. It sucks for them. So Ace Austin's cornerman's been sent to the back. They get speared by Trey. As a great point, Vince, but Rich Swann could be in the Aces and Eights. He was in the Good Brothers locker room. There was a seed planted earlier in the show. Maybe if the Good Brothers come out, Rich Swann is going to be part of Aces and Eights. I would rather we just have EC3 and Gallows and Anderson come out and just kick the hell out of everyone. In terms of a prediction, do you know what? I've changed now. I absolutely changed. Because I thought that the mystery fourth person was going to be EC3. And therefore the mystery person was going to win the World Championship. Now, I mean, it's a tough one to call. Who do I think is going to win it? I don't think Rich Swann's going to win it. Could Eric Young win it? Maybe, but I'm not actually sure at this point in his career, this run in Impact Wrestling, if he should really be a world champion. I don't see the point in that. I think he's more of a useful addition as a sort of veteran member of the roster. So that leaves Trey or Ace Austin. It's a tough one. That is a tough one. I might have to think this over a little bit. I think maybe Ace Austin, you know. And I do think that the aces and eights are going to play into this. I think maybe Ace Austin wins the match and then becomes the leader of the aces and eights. I mean, there's a lot of moving parts here. Springboard cutter by Rich Swann. Brian says, just went to Tesco at almost 4 p.m. Love no lines. Wow. That's what it is. But soon you'll have to wear a mask. Soon you'll have to wear a mask. Even at 4 a.m. in the morning. David Cook agrees, says, I'm going for Ace Austin. I think I'm going to go with Ace Austin now. And most importantly, do we think we're going to see any more returns debuts tonight? EY looks to be busted open. He's got a cut over his ear or something. I might be above the eye for Eric Young. So after all of this, Eric Young gets a big cut over his eye. Welcome back to Impact Wrestling. Good to hear it, Brian. That's what I like to hear, that you did wear a mask, as you absolutely should. Wearing a mask, helping the others around you, protecting the others around you. That's what you got to do. Ian Thompson's going for Eddie Edwards. It'd be a feel-good story. I think Eddie Edwards, he's a kind of, for me, he's a Daniel Bryan kind of babyface. That I think he just gets more and more over the more he loses. So I could see him like nearly winning this one. Comes down to Ace Austin maybe and Eddie Edwards. That's when it's revealed that Ace Austin is the leader of the Aces and Eights. Would make some sense, wouldn't it? I mean, his name is Ace Austin, right? And it's aces and eights. He carries around a playing card anyway. So, I mean, the fit is quite natural there, is it not? Who do we think is going to be the first elimination also? Eric Young's got the cut over his eye. Asked him if he's okay, audibly, which deservedly so. He's like, are you alright? Yeah. We've got 40 viewers watching at the moment with us. Thank you very much for watching us. If you haven't subscribed, please do. Your subscription should pop up on the screen. I haven't really seen if they have been throughout the stream, but they should do. So if you are a destroyer on the outside... My God. Was that a destroyer through the bottom rope to the outside? That was nuts. But yeah, if you are new to the channel, please subscribe. We're on the road to 500 subscribers. We're about 30 off as a moment. That was insane. Slides on his knees, hits the destroyer through the bottom rope to the outside. That is nuts. That is nuts. Vince Burr says, I think Eric Young might have his own faction in the future, like Team Canada, but can't see him winning. He's been in a couple of factions in Impact Wrestling, of course. As you mentioned, Team Canada, which was teased previously. It was teased when Michael Elgin was still with the company, but that plan got scrapped. But he was also part of the faction of, do you remember World Elite? And when was it, 2009 maybe? And that was basically a sort of a League of Nations style faction in which you had competitors from all over the world, and Eric Young was actually the leader of that, wore a suit and everything. David Cook and Reddy saying Trey will go out first. And Ace Austin, of course, if he also wins tonight, he becomes the youngest world champion in Impact Wrestling history. The more you look at it, it makes a lot of sense, doesn't it? Goes for a Tiger Bomb. And Meteora, though, from Trey. Eric Young. Pile Driver to Trey. 1, 2, 3. And Trey has been eliminated by Eric Young. David Cook and Reddy's were correct. Trey is the first to be eliminated. Man, Eric Young just with his bald head, his cut bleeding all over his eye, I don't even know what's on the back of him. It just looks like a madman. This is the same Eric Young. And this is what I love about professional wrestling sometimes. You look at the evolution of a professional wrestler over his career. Eric Young used to be the same guy in Impact Wrestling that every time his pyro went off, he fell over through shock. He's currently now bleeding like a stuffed pig, choking out Eddie Edwards, and has some crazy doodles on his back. That Eric Young pile driver, by the way, on Trey, was a pile driver of a man that has been very, very frustrated for a very long time, waiting on the sidelines, no doubt. Eric Young is looking very heelish, isn't he, here? Obviously, he's got the blood. He's telling Rich Swann to stay down. He's screaming. He's like a madman. He's screaming, "This is my ring, my world." Man, Eric Young is on fire. He's bleeding. He's saying, "You're going to look worse than me." This definitely isn't a guy that's going to dress up as like Super Eric, is it? This is like the opposite of Super Eric. Rich Swann goes for body scissors. Yes, wheelbarrow reverse neck breaker. That was Eric Young's finish in the TNA Impact game. He kicks out though. I love the wheelbarrow neck breaker. Do you remember that TNA Impact game? I was talking about this the other day watching Impact. That game is so underrated for its time. Like, look at the graphics. That came out in like 2008 and was like one of Midway's last games, wasn't it? That TNA Impact game is off the charts. It's better than any of the last like 5 or 6 WWE 2K games. That TNA Impact game was legit. Eric Young hangs Rich Swann on the ropes here. What is Eric Young going to do? He's on the top rope with Rich Swann. I think he's going to go for the wheelbarrow neckbreaker once again from the top rope. No, he reversed it into a bulldog by Rich Swann. So we've got one elimination already. Who do we think is going to be next to go? Did you know, I didn't even realise as well, going back to that TNA Impact game, that there was actually a sequel. Not a proper sequel. It was more of just a repush of the game. So the first game was called TNA Impact, was released in 2008. And it actually was a sequel called TNA Cross the Line in 2010 that had Hulk Hogan on the cover, but it was only for portables like PSP and for like Nintendo DS. And it was, I think it was just the same game, but with worse graphics because it was on the likes of a DS. So we're thinking that Rich Swann might be next to go out. We've got Eddie Edwards and Ace Austin on the top rope here, or on the second rope rather. Rich Swann meets him. Oh, we're going to get a Tower of Doom here, I think. Or no. Eric Young's going to powerbomb Rich Swann. Powerbombs him into, oh my god, through a table. Eric Young power bombs Rich Swann into Ace Austin and Eddie Edwards, and they've gone through a table here at ringside. I didn't even know there was a table at ringside. It was all covered up in the darkness, which leaves Eric Young and Rich Swann in the ring. Eric Young's licking his own blood. And I must say, I wasn't exactly like super thrilled that Eric Young was the surprise in this match, but he's killing it so far. He is a madman. He is insane. See, this is when blood's done right. If it's accidental and you just go with it, you don't have to do a Cody Rhodes and get colour in every match. Eric Young is something else, man. He's shouting, "This is your surprise," points at Rich Swann and just goes, "Let down." Eric Young's great. I'm loving Eric Young in this match. I think he's doing great. I think he should do that in every match. Point to his opponent on the floor and just go, "Let down." Oh, Rich Swann's rolled him up. 2, 3. Eric Young is eliminated by Rich Swann. The second person eliminated is Eric Young, the returning Eric Young. Eric Young is not going to be the next Impact World Champion. Wow. And Eric Young looks like he's about to go insane. And Eric Young attacks Rich Swann's knee. And he's now working on the surgically repaired knee of Rich Swann. Here we go. Steel chair time. He's definitely a heel. If there was any question as to whether Eric Young was a heel, this ain't no Super Eric. He's got the leg. Bang! Trapped in a steel chair, and he's stomping the how out of the steel chair on Rich Swann's surgically repaired leg. Plates, screws are being destroyed by Eric Young here. This is how you make a return to the company. You don't need to win the world title. You just need to beat the hell out of someone. Bang! Smashes the steel chair wrapped round the ring post on Rich Swann's leg. So obviously Eric Young's been eliminated from the match, but pretty much so has Rich Swann. Eric Young staring at him saying, "I'll see you around." Man, Eric Young's, he's absolutely, that's on fire. And now Rich Swann is selling it. Smashing the floor, shouting, "Damn it." Man, this is great. Don Callis is selling it perfectly as well. 2 surgeries, plates, screws in your legs. All for this. And it's been taken away by Eric Young's heinous attack. Storytelling, my friends. Proper storytelling is what we like to see. Rich Swann is selling his ass off right now and is doing a hell of a job. And Ace Austin's going to go straight on it. Oh, Ace Austin's rolled up by Rich Swann. Kicks out. Really enjoyed that spot. Really enjoyed that Eric Young and Rich Swann spot there. That was great. Rich Swann is still fighting. They're trading blows with Ace Austin. Kick his leg. Yes, that's exactly what he does. Because it's smart. Ace Austin. Bang. 2, 3. And Rich Swann is eliminated. So that means we are down to 2. The next world champion is either going to be Ace Austin or Eddie Edwards. Rich Swann still just selling his behind off. Ace Austin, I think Ace Austin's going to do it now. Ace Austin's going to be the one. Ace Austin becomes the youngest Impact World Champion in the company's history, and then he has Ace in his name, so he might as well become the leader of the Aces and Eights. I still think there is more to come tonight. I really do. Eric Young's not the only return we're going to get in this main event. As I mentioned, I think with Eddie Edwards, they're doing the Daniel Bryan babyface, aren't they? That's exactly what they're doing. He's the Daniel Bryan babyface. He's the underdog babyface, Eddie Edwards. He's the one that fans will rally behind. But it doesn't matter if he loses here. If he loses, he gets over even more. Now, you saw that Ace Austin actually got out the Ace card there. I think that's a missed opportunity. How great would it have been if, as he got out the Ace, it was actually an Aces and Eights card. Then you get the Aces and Eights music, and then you get Gallows and Anderson on the entrance ramp. I mean, they're going to come. They've got to come back out here. We haven't seen them at Slammiversary. If we don't see Gallows and Anderson tonight, what a waste. Could you imagine? Could you imagine? Eddie Edwards is taking off the tape here. Throws it right at the referee's face. I wouldn't be happy with that. Social distancing. Sanitizing. Here we go. Trading shots. Who's going to be the next world champion then? Eddie Edwards or Ace Austin? I think this is going to be a big crowning moment for Ace Austin. The youngest world champion. It just feels like a moment. It just feels like a moment that we're going to see, doesn't it? Forearm straight to the face of Eddie Edwards. There's certainly a size difference here between Ace Austin and Eddie Edwards. I've seen some people on social media just saying that they think that it should have gone down to Ace Austin and Trey. I disagree. I think Eddie Edwards, as I mentioned, he's the ultimate underdog babyface. He's a Daniel Bryan style babyface. You could tell in the pre-match package that's what they were trying to say, that he was this underdog babyface. So that makes sense to me. I don't know, Pain Wrestling. Where is EC3? There's still time. There's still time. Ian Thompson says Ace Austin with the helps of Aces and Eights. Vince Burr says no EC3 tonight. David Cook says, or a massive swerve, meaning Eddie Edwards wins and is in Aces and Eights. Could you imagine? Could you imagine? Maybe EC3 was indeed telling the truth. He said he wasn't going to have a fight on July 18th. That was the only fight he was going to have. Maybe he was telling the truth. Bang! Eddie Edwards throws Ace Austin with an overhead throw into the turnbuckles. If maybe EC3 was indeed telling the truth. He said he wasn't going to have a match today. Maybe he was right. Or a fight. Maybe he's not going to be in a fight. Maybe he's going to have an appearance, though. Maybe I'm looking too much into it. He said, I'm not going to have a fight. He hasn't had a fight. That doesn't mean, though. It doesn't mean he can't cut a promo. It doesn't mean he can't make an appearance with Gallows and Anderson. Boston knee party. Eddie Edwards. Oh, he kicks out. I thought that was it. I thought that was it. Kicks out of the Boston knee party. That's got to be Ace Austin's, I think, here. Goes the fold. 2. Kicks out. They've both kicked out of each other's finishes. Eddie Edwards kicks out of Ace Austin's finish, and Ace Austin has kicked out of Eddie Edwards. Ace Austin's going up to the top. Rolls through. Edwards, Boston knee pie. It's the second one. We're going to get Eddie Edwards winning the world title. Die Hard. Bang. 1, 2, 3. And Eddie Edwards is the new Impact World Champion. Wow. I did not see that coming. Eddie Edwards is the new Impact World Champion. That is a surprise. I would have assumed it would have been the mystery person. I thought it was going to be EC3. If not, I thought it was going to be Ace Austin. I certainly didn't think it would be Eddie Edwards. Wow. 2-time world champion. What are our thoughts on that? My immediate thoughts, surprising. Surprised. Here comes Madman Fulton and attacks Ace Austin. Josh Matthews going crazy at ringside. Eddie Edwards just won the world title. Madman Fulton's attacked him. And he's continuing to attack Eddie Edwards. Is this where we're going to get the Gallows and Anderson moment? Are we going to get a save? Here we go. Here we go. Some good brothers are about to make the save. There's Gallows and Anderson. The good brothers are here to... Luke Gallows nearly slipped over. Luke Gallows nearly slipped on his ass as he was coming down the ramp. You can tell Luke Gallows is trying his best not to laugh as well. Here we go. They're facing off against Ace Austin and Madman Fulton. Are they going to join forces? Are they going to face off? They're just talking trash now. What's going on? Gallows and Anderson, RKO, cutter. Gallows kick to the face of Madman Fulton. And Eddie Edwards gets rid of Madman Fulton from the ring. There we're going to go. We're going to go for the Magic Killer. And Eddie Edwards, the new Impact World Champion, is celebrating here with the Good Brothers. Looks like the Good Brothers are going to be baby faces. No aces and eights. And we're all sharing a beer. And Gallows dropped his beer as well. He's not having a good way of it. He nearly slipped over and he dropped his beer. And they've got the Talking Shop coolers on. Everyone's dropping their beers. So the Good Brothers look like they're not heels as of yet. Oh, here we go. Here we go. The feed's cut out. It's EC3. He's here. There he is. My, oh my. EC3 smashes a glass against the wall. Is he going to say anything? Nope, he doesn't need to, because EC3 has just returned to Impact Wrestling. My, oh my, what an end to the show. Wow. What an end. So you've got Eddie Edwards as the new Impact World Champion. You've got the Good Brothers making the save. And you've also got EC3 returning to Impact Wrestling. My, oh my. What are our thoughts on that? That certainly took me by surprise. I didn't think we were going to see EC3. I guess that's the point. They got me. They got me. Did they get you? That was surprising. That was surprising. So let's do a little bit of reactions quickly. We won't go on too long. We've already been on the air for over 3 hours now, so I really appreciate everyone that's stuck with us. If you haven't subscribed to us, please do already. We're on our road to 500 subscribers here on YouTube. We're currently at 474 subscribers, so I really appreciate everyone that's subscribed tonight. As always, you can donate at streamlabs.com/WrestleNews365. If you do want to kick back something to the stream, you don't have to, of course, as always, but we really appreciate any support that's given to us. Interesting, really interesting. So EC3, I was kind of right with my silhouette there. EC3 has returned to Impact Wrestling. He was there at the end of it. What does that mean for him in the future? Is he going to be at Impact Wrestling on Tuesday? Let's hope so. Of course, Impact Wrestling on Tuesday, we've got the Motor City Machine Guns going up against the North for the Tag Team Championship. And also, we've got a new Impact World Champion in Eddie Edwards. Slightly disappointed that Ace Austin wasn't the champion, but I guess it was to facilitate... the Good Brothers making their debut. Surprised at their baby faces. They look to be the Steve Austin style baby faces. But I think the thing that everyone's going to be talking about after that is the debut or re-debut of EC3 with Impact Wrestling. Almost a different version, I think, at this point of EC3. But an interesting one for sure. What are your thoughts? Let me know your thoughts in the live chat and in the comment section below. That's a way to be watching Tuesday, isn't it? It's a way to be watching Tuesday for Impact Wrestling on Access. Tomorrow, of course, we will be doing a watch along as well for Extreme Rules, the horror show at Extreme Rules, so be sure to join us there too. Let me know your thoughts about all of this live stream, if it went well tonight. We had a few hiccups, most of the time with Fight TV and Impact Wrestling, but we got there, guys, so thank you for sticking with me this whole time. Be sure to give this video a like, so we can go into recommended people's recommended feed. And as I mentioned, if you haven't subscribed already, please do. And if you want to donate and support the channel, you can go to streamlabs.com/WrestleNews365. Thank you very much for watching, listening, streaming, or however you've come across this today. And I will see you all again tomorrow for full breakdowns and reactions of Slammiversary, but also for the watch along